call the April 28th Board of Education regular public budget meeting open. If we could have a moment of silence. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Suburban Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, Cablevision of Warwick and West Milford, TV 77, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call, please, Mrs. Patagno.
Thank you. Mr. Sitovich? Mrs. Dwyer? Mr. Garino?
Here.
Mrs. Jurgensen? Mr. Lippy?
Here.
Mrs. Marquardt? Here. Mrs. Ricano? Mrs. Van Dyke?
Here.
And Mrs. Lockwood?
Here. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit out of order tonight, and I'm going to do the President's report first. I'd like to introduce everyone to our unsung hero. There's a resolution on here tonight that I'm going to read. Ryan Johnson. He's a senior in our high school. If you could come up. And the resolution is whereas the Passaic County School Boards Association and the Passaic County Education Association, in collaboration with the New Jersey School Boards Association, recognize unsung heroes from each high school in Passaic County to celebrate those whose character and impact define the heart of our schools. And whereas the Unsung Hero Award honors students who make outstanding contributions to their schools and communities, but are often overlooked by traditional recognition programs. Students who have modeled good citizenship, resilience, and the flowing with purpose, the power of persistent character that inspires others. And whereas these unsung heroes may have organized community programs, selflessly supported their peers, or achieved significant academic success while overcoming difficult personal challenges, disabilities, or language barriers. And whereas Ryan Johnson has overcome seemingly unsurmountable obstacles to reach their full potential, serving both the school community and the community at large as a beacon of integrity. And whereas on Wednesday, March 25th, 2026, Ryan Johnson was formally recognized for these achievements at the 4th Annual Passaic County Unsung Hero Awards ceremony held at West Milford High School. Now therefore be it resolved that the West Milford Township Board of Education officially recognizes Ryan Johnson as an unsung hero of Passaic County and the West Milford Township School District. And be it further resolved that this resolution is presented to Ryan Johnson as a sincere token of the West Milford Township Board of Education's congratulations and best wishes for continued success as they continue to lead by example. Congratulations, Ryan Johnson. And now we'll turn it over to Dr. Kitchen, the District Administration reports.
Yes, we're going to start with our student representative report, so Miranda Petrosillo.
Hi, I am Marina Petrosillo, the Student Council President, here with my report for the end of April. The class council held a very successful volleyball tournament on Tuesday, April 7th. The winning team was the Half Moon Cookies, and the best costume went to the Ninja Turtles. With graduation around the corner for our senior class, applications for community scholarships just closed on April 24th. Winners will be announced at Community Scholarship Night on June 3rd. The All-District Festival was held on April 15th, featuring the sights and sounds of our many talented students across multiple grade levels. From the bands and the choirs to the displays of art, woodworking, sculpture, 3D printing, and much more, it is always a great evening to behold the creations and skills of the West Milford artistic community. The same evening was Empty Bowls, an initiative which is a grassroots initiative to raise money for food-related charities. Members of the art department created bowls of clay which are painted and fired, and then people purchase them while they get to enjoy a nice hot serving of soup or chili. Many thanks to those who supported this worthy cause. Distinguished Scholars Night was held on April 22nd, during which the top 15 of each class was named, and also the valedictorian of 2026 was revealed. Many congratulations to Brenna Traverso and the salutatorian Annie Emgren. Brenna is going to the College of New Jersey and will be majoring in math secondary education. Anna will be continuing her education at Muhlenberg for a dual major in theater and business. Take Your Child to Work Day was held on April 23rd. The high school welcomed over 45 young visitors to the building and engaged them in an art scavenger hunt, Eiffel Tower building, working with the 3D printers, making their own climbing bear, doing a silhouette art project, chalking outside, making bookmarks, doing puzzles, making a parfait, or learning computer programming. They also got treats throughout the day. Many thanks to all of the amazing high school teachers who opened their doors to the kids and to the National Honor Society and Student Council students who assisted the children and the advisors who organized the day. The National Honor Society welcomed 36 new members just last evening in a lovely ceremony. Welcome to the new members and best wishes for next year. Congratulations to the 39 graduating seniors. Best of luck to them all in their future endeavors. Tomorrow is Denim Day in recognition of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Friday is a bonus micros trivia night. Come for bragging rights and to get a ridiculous trophy and maybe win a cash prize. It is $5 a person to play, and you can have a team of up to 8 people, no minimum. Email Ms. Petrosillo to sign up or to get more information. NJSLA testing will be held for grade 9 on May 1st, 4th, and 5th, and grade 11 testing will be held on May 1st and May 4th. June 10th, the PTSO will be drawing the raffle tickets for their 50-50. Last year's winner received $1,300, so return those tickets to room 123. June 12th is the annual Drug and Alcohol-Free Senior Celebration, which is held at the high school at no cost to them. There are several giant inflatable games, full catered dinner and desserts, a henna artist, caricaturist, DJ, photo booth, tarot card reading, Zeppeli, AJ's ice cream, and more fun activities. And at the end, there will be an hour-long hypnotist show. This is to ensure the graduating class enjoys a safe and fun evening together as they prepare for graduation. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. The other thing on here for this evening is our public hearing on the budget. Obviously, the budget is up for vote this evening, and the budget as it is being presented here tonight is the same as it was presented at our meeting last month. So unless there are any other questions from board members, we're not going to be going through another presentation. All right, and then before we move on from the district admin report, I did have a statement I wanted to read. I know that most of us are here this evening for one specific reason, and that's the closure of Paradise Knoll Elementary School. So I'd like to just read a little bit of a statement to kind of provide some final clarifying points before this goes to vote. Tonight's decision regarding the closure of Paradise Knoll Elementary School is one of the most difficult this board and this district have faced. We recognize the deep sense of loss and the many thoughtful questions raised by our community and by board members since the proposal was first introduced. We have worked to provide clear and transparent information, and while not every concern can be resolved to everyone's satisfaction, there are several important points that must be clearly understood before this vote. First, our financial situation is grounded in real, tangible constraints. Our budget must be balanced with actual dollars, revenues that exist to cover expenses. Delaying a decision to close a school does not eliminate the deficit. It only shifts the burden elsewhere. Without this action, we will be forced to identify alternative reductions of equal magnitude. Second, if Paradise Knoll were not selected, another school would have to be. While Paradise Knoll offers the most direct cost savings, the annual savings is not significantly different than other schools. That being said, cost savings is not the sole factor in this recommendation. It has the fewest classrooms, meaning its closure results in the least loss of instructional spaces and provides us with the best opportunity to absorb students while minimizing disruption. A loss of any additional classrooms would require moving the 5th and 8th grade to create more space, or deeper staff cuts resulting in larger classes to fit in available rooms. We also want to directly address concerns about class sizes and student impact. With this plan, our projected average class size is approximately 21 students, with the largest classes around 24. These numbers reflect careful and deliberate effort to preserve the educational quality. Without a school closure, the only viable alternative to close the budget gap would be significant staff reductions, cuts that would increase class sizes dramatically and lead to the loss of programs, services, and student supports across the district. We understand how emotional this moment is. Closing a school is never just a financial decision. It affects students, families, staff, and the fabric of a community. At the same time, districts across the state of New Jersey are facing similar difficult choices, including many that have not experienced the level of state funding reductions that we have endured. Ultimately, this recommendation reflects a commitment to preserving what matters most, the quality of education we provide to every student. While this decision may mean a change in location, it allows us to maintain strong programs, manageable class sizes, and the supports our students need to succeed. This is not the outcome anyone hoped for, but it is the path that best positions our district to remain strong, stable, and focused on student success in the years ahead. That's it for my administrative report.
Thank you, Dr. Kitchen. Special reports and correspondence, Mrs. Patagno.
Thank you. This evening I have the minutes from the March 24th preliminary budget hearing special action meeting, the March 24th executive session, March 31st workshop regular meeting, the March 31st executive session, the April 7th special meeting, and the April 7th executive session.
I'd like to move the March 24th preliminary budget hearing special action meeting, executive session, March 31st workshop regular meeting and executive session meeting, and April 7th special meeting and executive session meeting minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstaining? Okay, so now we'll move on to public comments. We do have some community members who have signed up. So all speakers will have 5 minutes to speak until a period of 30 minutes transpires. Before speaking, please state your name, group affiliation, and address for the record. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. After speaking, all speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name, group affiliation, and their address. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant may address or question board members individually. All speakers are expected to have read the statement within the agenda regarding the regulations concerning public comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Mrs. Jessica Brandt, you're up first.
Jessica Brandt, 102 Greendale Drive in Oak Ridge. It's only going to be a comment this time. I'm up here as a proud PK parent and an even more proud neighbor to some of these women sitting behind me tonight. This group has been working tirelessly the past few weeks since we got the devastating news about PK. Day in and day out, we've been contacting key New Jersey stakeholders, flooding social media, sending emails, calling legislators, connecting with coalitions we didn't even know existed, gaining media attention, meeting with senators, assemblymen, and assemblywomen who are advocating for our town. And I want to emphasize that this all happened within 20 days. I'm especially proud to call many of these women my friends and neighbors. They're incredibly intelligent, and together we bring diverse strengths and perspectives as educators, administrators, union reps in other districts, and healthcare workers. These backgrounds have helped us better understand the inner workings of boards as a whole. Because I'll be honest, this is only my third Board of Ed meeting, and all three have been within this past month, despite having children in the district for 3 years. So that's on me, and I'm sure I speak for others when I say that I have not been more involved and aware of what's happening in our schools. I want to stress that I understand the deficit is out of your control. I recognize West Milford's unique challenges that make the funding even more critical. I think I can speak for all of us here when I say that our frustration is that we did not have time. In just 20 days, a group of 15 women In 20 days, a group of 15 women built real momentum. So imagine what could have been done with a few more months or ideally a year to advocate, build connections, and push for relief while these bills are still in progress. I understand that a non-passing budget isn't an option and that closing PK is the only path forward right now. My plea to all of you as the board is this: if there's ever any indication that another school could be at risk, please keep us informed early and clearly and explicitly. If we had known even a year ago that PK might have been on the table, we would have mobilized immediately. And I truly believe circumstances could have been different had we had more time. Additionally, from a PTA board member standpoint, we would have prioritized our PTA initiatives differently, especially on the financial side in preparation for such a huge change. So what's next? Now you see our faces. You know some of us probably a little more than you would like to. You'll continue to see us at these meetings. We do understand how important it is to stay informed and involved. We are ready to work with you as a board and as a community to fight against future school closures and grade restructuring. But we do need transparency, clear, direct communication so we can all act early. What this small group accomplished in such a short time shows what is possible. So if given more notice, we can leverage an entire community, current families, alumni families, residents who may have valuable connections and influence. Because the reality is it impacts everyone. Taxes affect every household, and the strength of our schools affects our entire town. One board can't do this alone. It takes a community, so let's work together to protect our district and our children. And I do have a comment. Being on the PTA board as communication or as corresponding secretary on my PTA board, you know, we have me, who is the communications coordinator, who shares all the happenings going on. So I think it would be beneficial if maybe the board, if you guys had some type of person who can be that communications coordinator, maybe sharing events, sharing the minutes. And this is possible that you even have this and I'm just not seeing it in my email, I don't even know. But I think it would be helpful, or maybe a suggestion, to just have someone like that to keep everybody in the know. That way we all feel like we're all in on this together. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brand. Mrs. Amy Winters.
Good evening. My name is Amy Winters, PK parent, and I live on Old Hoot Pole in Oak Ridge. Over the past few weeks, many of us came together in a grassroots effort to understand how a decision this significant could move this quickly. We read budgets, attended meetings, sent emails, and asked questions about the numbers, timelines, options, and a long-term plan. And after all of that, we're still left with questions that matter deeply. What would it actually take to keep Paradise Knoll open? What were the alternatives, transportation details, long-term plan? Because tonight can't just be about getting through one budget year. I've stood here before and talked about the numbers behind the decision. But tonight, I'm not here as someone analyzing budgets and spreadsheets. I'm here as a mom of both a current PK student and a future PK student. Because behind every chart, projection, resolution, and vote, there are children. And for my son, Paradise Knoll is not a line item. It's not a building on a facilities plan. It's where he feels safe, where adults know his name, where he has grown into himself, and that matters. And after speaking with people who have lived here far longer than we have, it feels like this may not be a new conversation at all. It feels like this may have been building quietly for years. And if that's true, then what many of us are struggling with is not only the decision itself, but the feeling that families are being asked to enter the conversation at the very end. And many of us chose this town because we believed in what this community offered. Neighborhood schools, close relationships, teachers who know families, and a district where children are not supposed to feel like numbers. So when a school is on the table to be closed, it does not feel like a simple operational adjustment. It feels like something foundational is shifting. And I understand that difficult decisions have to be made, but financial pressure does not erase the need for trust or transparency. And it does not erase the responsibility to show the community clearly and completely where this path leads next. Because once this happens, it's not just a building that's gone. It's the morning routine a child depends on, the teacher who understands how to calm them, the friends they look for at recess, the nurse who knows their worries, the aide who notices when they are overwhelmed, and the custodian who says hello. Those moments do not show up neatly in a budget presentation, but they are real and they matter. And before I go, I want to leave you with this. Once upon a time, in a quiet town, there was a small school. It was not the biggest school, it was not the newest school, but to the children who walked through its doors, it was everything. It was where they learned to write their names, where they learned to raise their hands, where they lost teeth, made friends, cried on those hard mornings, but then laughed at lunch and slowly became brave. And outside there was a playground, and on that playground there was a rocket ship. Not a real one, but to them it was. They climbed inside, they pressed the buttons, they counted down 3, 2, 1. And for a few minutes, they were explorers, fearless, believing they could go anywhere. But what children do not see is that the real direction of where they're going is often decided by adults in meetings with budgets and motions and votes. And someday these children will be older, They won't remember the exact numbers or the budget lines, but they will remember how it felt. They will remember the school that loved them first, the playground, the rocket ship. So tonight I'm asking you to remember that this is not just a vote about a building, it's a vote about trust and childhood. And it's a vote about whether the smallest school can still matter in a district making big decisions. So tonight, when you make this decision, just remember, to you this may be one vote, but to them, it's the moment their childhood changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fuentes. Mrs. Maria DeRocha?
Good evening. My name is Maria DeRocha, 58 Bergen Drive, West Milford, New Jersey, 07480. I'm speaking tonight as a parent and as someone who is deeply saddened by today's decision, last month's decision made regarding Paradise Knoll closure. Even though the vote has already passed, this decision still matters. It impacts our children, our families, and our entire community in ways that will be felt long after tonight. This affects children who are being moved out of school they're comfortable in and attached to. It affects families who now have to adjust to major changes in their daily lives and schedule. It also affects the wider community. School strength is tied to community strength, and decisions like this can impact property values for every homeowner in West Milford, not just the people that have children in school systems. I know this question has been asked before, but it didn't make sense to me when I received the presentation in the email either. You know, we were talking about $2.9 million savings. However, it appears much of that comes from one-time spending and only about $800,000 in ongoing annual savings. I don't know what is the future plan for West Milford Township to take that discrepancy, because you were telling us healthcare costs are rising $3.4 million, and they will keep rising, I promise you that, because they always rise. So I would like an answer to that, and I understand that it's not an answer you can give me right now, but I would appreciate an email, and I will share my email later. I would like to know if other options were explored. Dr. Kitchen, I know you spoke about this before, that other options were explored. Nobody ever shared this with the parents. What other options were explored, and why weren't they explored further? It has often felt like parents were the ones driving questions and pushing for answers and creating urgency while the process moved forward without the same urgency in return. Even basic coordination, such as organizing transportations for parents to attend the Trenton meeting, was denied. I know that Jefferson did it, and their township or school board, I'm not sure, they went to Trenton and they were provided a bus, and we were not, and we were not informed that this is an option. Nobody came out and said, let's do this. And I also want to ask, and I would really like an answer to this one. Since the closure of Westbrook, how often, how many times has our Board of Ed, West Milford Board of Ed, has been present at New Jersey Board of Ed meetings representing West Milford and asking questions about West Milford District? This is the second school we're closing in 3 years in an 80 square foot mile town. So you're basically making 5-year-olds wake up at 5 a.m. to be at school by 8:30 in the future, all the Oak Ridge neighborhood. Even though the vote has passed, accountability still matters, transparency still matters, and how future decisions like this are handled matters, and how they're shared with the community. Paradise Knoll also represents students, families, and a long-standing part of this community, and that responsibility should be treated with care and full consideration. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Mrs. DeRocha. Mrs. Goff? Mr. Goff?
Good evening. My name is Marissa Goff, resident at 34 Center Street in West Milford. Okay, I have to go after that. So it's not easy explaining the intricacies of what makes districts operate, what disparities and challenges we face. Despite the circumstances, seeing the community come together is one of the many things that makes West Milford special. Your positive engagement is exactly what keeps these issues visible at the state level. We all need to have the same goal, same agenda. The main point to make. Funding per pupil should not be dependent on our zip code. Fair funding is just that, equal opportunities for all children in the state. West Milford has unique constraints. The major one being the stewards of the water and the land, like has been said many times, especially in the last 20 days. The Highlands Act, add that with the S2 funding cuts over the last 8 years, and it has created a catalyst that has been a huge detriment to our schools and our township. What can the residents and families do? Continue your push on social media about Highlands Impact Aid now, but be mindful of what you share. There has been some information circulating that has derailed what the mission is for both the board and the township. Keep in mind that gossip is only going to cloud judgments and take away the end goal. This is coming from a person who is heavily involved, but let me be clear, I do not know the inner workings of the district or its committees, or what goes on behind closed doors. I do know how much time the board has to take away from their families to ensure that these major transitions are the least impactful of our students. I came up to the podium just a few weeks ago and spoke about insurance, as we have seen a $3.5 million increase in premiums compared to last year, where the state average exceeds that. It's absurd. However, what I didn't know is that our district is not on the New Jersey state plan, but a private plan. What I didn't know is that your insurance broker took the time to find the plan with the lowest percentage of increase. I appreciate you taking the time to follow up on that. I value your transparency, but I crave more. Like many other residents, you see me sit here through board meetings, which I'm sorry, are not very exciting most times, but all I hear are resolutions or committee reports or line items. If there is something like insurance premiums or class size changes or transportation issues or something imperative like this being discussed that you feel the residents should hear, put out a school messenger. And I know you discussed back in, you didn't get the numbers for these rising insurance premiums only until a few weeks before the preliminary budget. But if we knew that we were teetering, the public should know. And I always push the more proactive than reactive behavior. I know you sent your letters, but the community might not. This will help be more proactive without raising fear, and that's one thing I saw with Westbrook, very fear-driven, and then it got quiet afterwards. Help us so we can continue to help you. My organization is guilty of spamming emails and phones with school messengers, and I think a parent brought that up at the last meeting. But this small change could make a big impact and show the community even more that you are on our side. Something like, reminder, general board meeting Tuesday at 7 p.m. Please see attached agenda with the following topics instead of having to weed through the agenda items. Make it simplified, easy to find. Unfortunately, our attention spans have dwindled over the last few years. So looking through the agendas can be more tedious, especially for the working families that are juggling work, school schedules, sports schedules, etc. One other thought from the community responses and budget presentation, security vestibules. Based off the presentation, it appears that most of our remaining elementary schools need them. I know how hard Mr. Novak works to find appropriate grants for the district. There have been laws passed, like Alyssa's law in 2020, requiring school district to be compliant with school security guidelines. By the looks of these guidelines, it requires security alarms and other technologies. I feel that security vestibules shouldn't fall on the district's capital budget, especially when the capital reserves are dwindling. It should be mandated and reimbursed by the state. This is an issue that needs to be pushed on top of everything else. We need to push for a school security grant for all schools. What else can residents, students, and staff members do now? Attend, testify, or submit your public comment to the State Board of Education before April 30th. That's this Thursday. The meeting is on Wednesday, May 6th. Individuals who are unable to present at the public testimony may submit a written testimony to the State Board of Education. This is where you can discuss our unique constraints, urge to push the bills that are currently sitting in committees, like A4770 and A480. Your testimony can be emailed to stateboardoffice@doe.nj.gov. I won't finish the rest, it's just the same things. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bob. Miss Maggie Smith?
Hello, I am Maggie Smith. I am a PK parent and I live on Grove Street in Oak Ridge. I am a newer resident of West Milford. My family and I moved here this past summer, believing that we were choosing a community with strong schools, responsible leadership, and a board that values transparency and accountability. I have a current kindergartner at PK, and I'm writing to you tonight and speaking here before your vote because what has led to this moment is deeply troubling. As you prepare to vote on the closure of Paradise Knoll Elementary, I want to be very clear. This process has not met the standards that the families in this community deserve. A decision of this magnitude, one that affects our children, families, educators, and the future of this town, should be based on complete, accurate, and fully transparent information, and that has not been the case. Instead, what we have seen is a process marked by incomplete data, inconsistent explanations, and a lack of meaningful community engagement. Families have been left to piece together information, question what is accurate, and advocate for clarity that should have been provided from the beginning. That is not transparency, and that is not accountability. What makes this even more unacceptable is that it did not have to happen this way. With honest communication, proactive outreach, and a genuine willingness to work with the community, this situation could have been approached collaboratively. Instead, many of us feel shut out, disregarded, and forced to react to a decision that appears to have been moving forward regardless of community input. As a newer resident, I find this especially alarming. My family has made a major life decision when we chose to move here based on the belief that this district operates on integrity and openness. Had we known that a decision of this scale would be handled in this manner without full transparency, without consistent factual support, and without true community involvement, I would have reconsidered choosing West Milford as our home. Before you cast your vote tonight, I urge you to consider not only the outcome, but the process that brought you here. Right now, there is a clear lack of trust between this board and the families you serve, and that is a direct result of how this has been handled. You should also be absolutely 100% certain that this is the right decision, because once this choice is made, there is no going back, and you've made that very clear. This impact will be permanent, and the consequences will be felt by families for years to come. And I can assure you of this, every decision made by this board moving forward will closely be scrutinized, carefully examined, and looked at with a fine-tooth comb by this entire community. That level of scrutiny is the direct result of how this process has unfolded. But you still have a choice. You can move forward with a decision that many of us feel has not been properly justified or transparently supported. Or you can pause, provide the full and accurate data this community has been asking for, and engage in a process that reflects the responsibility that you have to the public. Anything less is a disservice to the children, our families, and the community that you were elected to represent. Our children deserve better, so do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Mrs. Pategno, is there anyone else signed up to speak?
No, signed up, no.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, so if you could just come up one at a time. You can even come down to the front.
Good evening all, my name is Stephen Toll, 27 Pierce Avenue, Oak Ridge, New Jersey. I have two beautiful daughters in our PK community. Hear me out. You're closing this school to save a couple bucks, right? But you do not know what you're actually doing. You come to this decision before having an actual plan, and that right there would be one of the worst parts of this whole thing. You're not just ending an elementary school, you're destroying a community. You are altering people's lives, hundreds of people's lives with your decision. Your decision to be protect us at all costs, you have not done that. You sat behind your tables, you've not answered our questions. You've not made the best decisions in the interest of the people you swore to do that for. I hope you know your actions have consequences. My 6- and 9-year-old know that. The potential decision is simply one word, it's disgrace. I've been in this town, specifically Oak Ridge, for 36 years out of the 41 I've been here. My parents built a home 3 properties down from the school for PK. People have moved and stayed in this part of town because of PK. I know it sounds ridiculous. I have a PK Panther tattooed on my shoulder, all right? My 3 best friends I talk to almost daily, we were in Mrs. Duke's kindergarten class here at this school. This is a community. Shout out to Mrs. Duke. Again, this is not a school closing. This is a short-sighted attempt to save money while altering entire community and not looking at all options that were available. The research that you presented us seems very one-sided. Vestibule, $600,000, okay. $450,000 to pave a parking lot, come on. Show us what really it is. I don't see any of those from other schools, it's us, right? This matters. This school is the furthest away from the center of town. Transportation, it's going to be a bitch. These factors are a huge part of why this should stay open. In closing, I guess I'd like to thank you for having us, even though you've all made your decision and your vote. Transportation, class size, insane estimates and costs for improvements, and what you'll do to this community are the reasons I would say hell no to this vote this evening. For our kids, thank you.
Hi, my name is Christine Sauerteig-Pilar. I live at 80 Paradise Road. Good evening. As I stand here tonight, I'm weighing all the things that I wanted to tell you. Many sentimental, as I inherently am linked to PK. Through my girls having gone there, me working there now, and the simple fact that I see it outside my kitchen window every day. You are not only talking about a place that gave my kids enduring educational foundations, you're talking about my home. In the brief 21 days since the announcement of the decision to close PK, you have forced me to ask many questions, and I find many of them unanswered. I watched on April 17th as you showed your practice shiny presentation delivering your pointed narrative for justifying the closure. What you did not show us was any other pathways that were considered. Picking up a report from 3 years prior does not show thoughtfully considered or creative intentions on finding another way. Picking up that 3-year-old report should have just been your starting point, not the decision you were looking for, because a lot has happened in those 3 years. Since we have closed the school, the idea of closing one so quickly should not be considered unless you have proof that closing the first one was beneficial. So some of my questions are, how much was publicly stated closing Westbrook going to save us? How much did we actually save from closing Westbrook? Why is Westbrook still open? How much does Westbrook still cost us? Is there a vacant classroom in high school? Why is Highlands Academy not in the high school? If we can have a preschool program in the high school, why couldn't LU be in the high school? That program would benefit from the labs and the 3D printers, or put it back in Marshall Hill where it thrived for years. So why then are we using Westbrook for POE offices when we have a building dedicated to BOE already? This would empty Westbrook and you could rent it out or sell it. We need to be shown all the financial fallout from the closing of Westbrook, from proposed savings to actual savings, including all the travel and moving expenses and the transportation costs of the students. You are so sure closing Westbrook would have expected savings and or revenue. Where is the evidence that this worked? How can you, with a clear conscience, think it will work this time? And once you've shown us those numbers, let's talk Hillcrest. The building's been closed since 2018, and the tax map has evaluated at over $4 million. Why have you not aggressively worked to sell that property to offset financial shortfalls? If you will not sell it, for there's no reason why you cannot sell it, then why are you not looking into somehow finding ways to creatively have that property create revenue? Which leads to the next unanswered question. You have 2 closed schools, neither of which have been sold. One still open. What on earth do you expect to do with PK, which is nestled in a neighborhood, my neighborhood? You should expect and you will receive pushback on any proposed project that you might even consider to do there. I'd also like to talk about the current momentum of our state legislator. As we are not the only town in the choking point of the unfair state school funding and the Highlands Act working in tandem, we now have exposed this issue and we are finally gaining ground in our government. We have the potential lifeline of Bill A4860 for the Fairness for School Districts and Developmental Restricted Areas Act, which if passed would give West Milford $5 million. And Bill A4770, introduced by Assemblywoman Dunn, which speaks to tax revenue, and Bill A4456, also produced by Dunn, where Jefferson schools are asking for a supplemental of $4.8 million. So I ask myself, why do we not have a similar bill? I believe this is a financial storm. I have lived in New Jersey long enough to know that if this was a natural storm, state funds would be flooding in. This is a financial state of emergency. And why do we not have time? Because you gave us 21 days to figure it out. Which brings me to my final concern. As you are crunching the numbers and the specter of closing a school became more and more reality, where were the alarm bells? Where were you? I know where we were. We were going through getting past the last school closing, building new working relationships, helping students navigate new schools, bus routes, friends, and staff, all while balancing maybe two careers like me, kids and aging parents. Let's be clear, it was your job to watch these issues for us. You have failed as the proper stewards of our trust and our ability to successfully run this district. Full stop. You didn't tell us what you needed, what became obvious to you. Respectfully, I feel like I have to direct this to you, Mr. Kitchen, Dr. Kitchen. You do not know this community. We have fought twice before to keep PK open, and we won. You have underestimated us and stolen our agency to join together and not let this ship sink. Let me be clear. It is rare to have a community that will stand up and fight, and it is beyond disappointing that you refuse to let us try. I implore any of you who have earnestly listened to me to vote no. Deadlines mean nothing in this day and age. You can push this back. You asked your teachers to work with that for a full year without a contract. Vote no on this. Yes to possibility. Thank you.
I have a tough act to follow after that one. My name is Mike Notar. I live at 8 Gold Lane in Oak Ridge. I have been living in West Milford for 11 years now. My comments are a little bit different. I'm not going to go into how I feel about the vote that you guys are doing or have already made. That's exactly my point. Thank you.
Excuse me, can you please just continue talking to us, and please don't say anything.
Sure, I will give you that respect.
I'm talking to the audience. You can't say anything to the board members.
Okay, I will give you that respect to talk directly to you, which brings me to my point tonight. One of the reasons I've become so successful in my life is that I know how to read a room. And being that, I have been watching every single one of you up on this board. For the 6 of you that have given your undivided attention to every single person that has come up to this podium and spoken, thank you. For the other 6 of you that have had your heads buried in your laptops, looking at your phones or whatever you're doing and having side conversations, that is disrespectful to every single parent here and every single resident of this community. You have irate and very upset parents, teachers, administrators, everything up here trying to talk to you because we look to you as our leaders. And you can't even give us the respect to look at us while we're speaking to you. I notice I have all of your attention now. And I bet you every single person after me will as well. You should have been doing that from the beginning. This is the downfall of this town. You don't care about us. And parents and residents, remember this next time you're in a voting booth about who actually has your back. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. It's terrible what you have let happen here tonight, and it's terrible about what you're going to let happen in the next 2 or 3 years, because we all know it's coming. But please, pay attention to the people up here. You are our voice. You are our leaders. Lead with purpose. Help us. Thank you.
So excuse me, we're going to extend, but we need a motion to extend.
Can I make a motion to extend for 30 more minutes?
Yes, you can. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Hi, good evening. My name is Nicole Fuller-Straw, 695 East Shore Road, Hewitt. I stand before you as a resident, a parent, and a social worker graduate. My personal and professional experience navigating state systems has shown me exactly how funding gaps and administrative delays can translate into real-world hardships for families and communities. And I'm here today because our district is reaching a breaking point. Due to the lack of transparency, knowledge, and what we can do moving forward. This is not simply about threatening to close a school. As others have testified, it has been discussed for several years now. I understand we are being squeezed from all sides because by factors outside of local control. The Ringwood Mines super site status and Ford's legacy of hazardous waste continue to loom over our community. Some of you may not know, but we have had failed lead testing in Apshua in 2017, and the UGL and Maple Road in 2022 and 2024. So why does this matter today? Well, the state mandated that all of our plumbing upgrades needed to be done by 2031, and this was issued in 2021. So we've had about how many years to address this, and it has not been discussed yet. So yet the state has provided no clear pathway to pay for that. So I understand the Highlands Act prevents us from growing our local tax revenue, and the S2 funding cuts keep stripping away the support we use to rely on. But I have found at least 2 active grants that we could apply for now. One to cover the costs incurred to UGL and Maple Road in 2024, and another to start some of the necessary work needed for some of the work that is needed to be done by 2031 mandates. I've already provided Dr. Kitchen with this information and other potential funding sources following last Tuesday's meeting. This is not a list of grievances. This is an invitation for collaboration. I'm formally asking the board to advocate at the state level for these to specifically tied to the Highlands restrictions and mandate upgrades. Please ensure that we engage with the New Jersey Department of Education to lock in every dollar available before this 2026 deadline. One of the grants expires in June of this year to start those upgrades. One of those grants expires in September of this year. There's many grants that we could have applied for that have already expired. I'm not sure how much funding that has slipped through your fingers that we could have gotten a hold of to prevent this closure. Be transparent with this community regarding total projected costs, current funding gaps, and the specific criteria for school closure discussions well in advance in the future, because they'll be coming for you, I'm sure. Our community should not be penalized for protecting the state's water while being forced to meet unfunded mandates. We need alignment between policy and funding, and we need advocacy now, not after the next school is on the chopping block. I know through collaboration and advocacy, we can save more by keeping schools alive. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Megan Sullivan. I live at 90 Greendale Drive. I have one question for the board. Obviously, I know you can't actually answer it, but over the past 3 years, have you done everything in your power to stop this from happening? And if the answer is yes, great. My guess is no. And if there's 1 ounce of doubt in your mind that you could have done more, I highly suggest you think about resigning from this position. Because you take an oath when you take this position to faithfully, impartially, and justly perform your duties. As Mrs. Brandt said, over the past 3 weeks, and if you count, it was 21 days since the presentation, and let me be clear, that was not a redistricting plan. That was a presentation about closing PK. The parents of this district have come together and have made significant jumps with assembly people, senators, surrounding towns, and so on, in only 3 weeks. How many times during Board of Ed meetings were school closings discussed? Honestly, it should have been discussed every single meeting, every single one. Many parents still have questions about the redistricting. How are you voting on this of closing PK without giving us this plan? That's unacceptable. How can you tell us that class sizes are staying at 24 without showing us a redistricting plan? So I just want to ask again, did all of you do everything in your power over the past 3 years to stop this from happening?
Good evening. My name is Abby Bejoun. I live at 86 Lake Park Terrace in Hewitt, New Jersey. Quite honestly, I did not plan on speaking tonight, but I need to. I had the privilege of working at PK for 3 years. A family that I actually call family out of all the schools I worked in this district. I want to echo every word all the other ladies and gentlemen spoke ahead of me. But I also want to add the cuts that you are making. I didn't see any cuts being done at the board office. There are plenty of positions at the board office that could be cut. And that's not personal to anybody here, but why do we need an assistant superintendent? Why does he need 2 secretaries? Not 1, 2 secretaries. And for the board members here, you always take Dr. Kitchen's, the superintendent's recommendation, and you vote yes on it. Are you doing your homework on looking into if his recommendations are the right recommendations or not? Are you? Because he doesn't live in this town. He doesn't care about our property. He doesn't care about our kids, quite frankly. You also spoke, Dr. Kitchen, about alternative. You spoke about alternative of cuts that you can keep that school open. Well, let's explore those alternatives, because once you close a building, it's never going to be reopened. And we know that in this town. However, I don't want to see any of my former coworkers lose their jobs. But if you cut teachers, we can replace teachers. If you cut administration, we can replace administration. If you cut programs, we can bring those programs back. But we cannot reopen that building once you close it. I'm asking the board member that we elected in this town to speak for our kids. I'm asking you to reconsider your decision. I don't have kids in this district, but I do care about the future of this town because those children are our future. We invest in those kids. We don't invest in secretaries. We don't invest in extra administration. We don't need a principal at every school. We can share principals. But we can leave that building open. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Emma Carson. I live on 9F New Bedford Road, and I'm not just here as a former, I'm here just as a former West Milford student, but as someone whose future has been shaped by the school in this district, and the decisions you make. The proposal closure of Paradise Knoll is more than just a logical change. It's more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It represents the loss of community, a place where students feel safe, supported, and known. Schools like Paradise Knoll are not interchangeable buildings. They are environments where relationships are built, where students grow, and where many of us first begin to imagine who we want to become. For me, that includes becoming a teacher. I've always looked up to educators in this district. They've inspired me to want to give back, to support future students in the same way I was supported. But watching this process unfold has made me question that path I've never expected. You were elected to be transparent for students, for families, for teachers, and for the community as a whole. Yet the decision, one that impacts all those groups, feels like this decision has been made behind closed doors, without the level of openness and collaboration that we were promised. And that raises a serious question: what message does it send? What does it say to students who are paying attention, to families who trusted you, to teachers who dedicated their lives to these schools, and to those of us who were considering entering a field of education? Because from where I stand, it sends a message that voices don't matter as much as they should. That decisions can be made without fully engaging the people that affect most. And that even in education, a field built on trust and community, that trust can be broken. That's not the kind of system that inspires future educators. That's the kind of system that makes us hesitate. I want to become a teacher because I believe in the power of education to change lives. I believe in strong schools, communities. I believe in showing up for students and doing what's best for them, even when it's difficult. But tonight, I'm asking you to reflect on whether those decisions are made with the same values. Closing Paradise Knoll may solve problems on papers, but at what cost? And more importantly, how do you make this decision matter just as much as the decision itself? Transparency matters, listening matters, and trust matters. Because students like me are watching, and we are learning not just from our teachers, but from you. Thank you.
Hi, as a former PTA member, I am Judy Winfield, 3 Carroll Drive, Oak Ridge. I was PTA member from 1994 to 2010, PTA president PK for two to three years. And I implore you, as a former PTA president and member, that you work with your PTAs to make this place and this district a better place. You guys, obviously, from what I heard tonight, have not. I have a grandchild in this district.
His father went there, wants to be a student at that school, and that school was wonderful. And we want that same thing for our kids and our grandkids. You need to work with our PTAs to make this district keep that school. It is home to me. I spent so many years at the school in this district to make this place better. And from what I can hear tonight, you guys are not working with these PTAs. You gave us 21 days. I found out a week ago you were going to close our school. I've lived here 38 years. How could you do that to them? How could you not give time for us to work with the district, with the PTA parents, with the school district, with everybody, with the towns, with the state to get funding here? I've heard for years how you guys want to get the funding from the watershed to get us covered for things we need. We don't have rateables in this town. Where are the rateables to get these things covered so our schools don't have to close? Please, see this face? He wanted to go to the same school his dad went to because it was home to him. How could you close it and not give him that opportunity? I'm sorry, but I do not find this acceptable. I will work my ass off for the next however long it takes to make this school stay open. Thank you.
My name is Gabriela Paz. I'm a PK parent and I live at 27 Jungle Lane. Basically, when I was looking for a house to buy, the first thing that was important to me was that there would be a good school. Even when I didn't have kids, I was already thinking and hoping for kids in the future. So PK had all the great things that I wished for. So I bought my house in 2019, and then I became a mom. Now I'm a mom of 4, and all this time I have been dreaming of all my kids going to this beautiful school where it feels like a family. So the school closing is simply devastating, and I'm sure many, if not all of us, feel the same way. The short time notice is what made us more upset because we did not have enough time to even dream about having possibilities of helping our school to stay open, even though we're doing as much as possible. So now we're left with so many questions, grieving, and worried about what the future holds for our kids. As other parents have mentioned before, we would like to be more informed if there ever was another threat to close another school, because we don't want that. We all are going to come together as a community to help as much as possible. Keep in mind, we love PK, big time, and closing it will affect families and children, and we hope you can understand that. So the last thing I want to say is thank to every parent and every person who came here and spoke with courage. But thank you, that's it.
My name is Ron Romano, 12 Daniel Street, Oak Ridge. I literally live right next to the school. I used to watch my kids walk up to the school out my kitchen window. My kids are all old now. I don't get to watch that anymore. But I like being in my backyard, hearing the kids play in the schoolyard. PK is a great place. And what I think you should do is delay your vote by 1 year. And prove to the community that you did your due diligence. Prove to the community that you care about those kids. And prove to the community that you're going to follow through on your previous school closing and close Westbrook. Because it's really not closed, is it? You've got 12 students in there. So why don't you take the board office and those students, if you're going to ruin the lives of some little kids, and use PK for that and close Westbrook for real. Because it seems kind of silly that I keep hearing that we've already closed the school when, is that really true? Is it really true? You went to PK. Hi, Ray. So listen, I understand that the state stinks and they're not giving us the money that we need. And that we have the Highlands Act that's got your hands tied behind your back. But I don't believe that you've done your due diligence. And I don't believe that you've explored every possibility. So delay your vote a year. And if it really needs to be closed, then close it in a year. Thank you.
My name is Haley Serbo, 402 Morristown Road. I'm a Maple Road parent. First and foremost, I want to recognize the incredibly strong and determined West Milford families here tonight. In just 3 weeks, we have raised more awareness about the Highlands Act and the situation we currently face than this Board of Education has done in the past 3 years. And let's be honest, this decision we are all here for feels like it's already been made, regardless of the powerful public comments shared tonight and in prior meetings. I currently have 2 daughters at Maple Road School. My family moved to our forever home in West Milford in 2021, fully intending to raise our children here. If I had known then what I know now, I would have thought twice about that decision. Board of Education members, you have failed us. Where were you 3 years ago? Why was there no long-term plan when Westbrook closed? You can patch a leaking roof, but eventually you need to replace it. Closing schools every few years is not a solution. It's a temporary fix for a problem you failed to plan for. And the reality, the problem you've created is one you may not even have to deal with in a few years, because families will leave. People will move out and enrollment will drop. We will end up solving all of your problems, as I like to point out, doing the dirty work for you. At the April 7th meeting, one of the many speakers, a fierce and awe-inspiring mother, opened my eyes and gave me the wake-up call I needed. She spoke about how flawed and secretive this process is. Information is withheld until the final hour, and families are left scrambling to understand decisions that deeply affect their children. You point to rising health costs and renovations as justification. Fine, let's talk about that. When your expenses go up, what do? You shop around, you look for better rates, you explore options. So I ask you, where is the evidence that you have done that? Have you seriously explored alternative health insurance plans for staff? Have you compared providers, negotiated rates, or offered tiered options? Show us the work, show us the outreach, show us the numbers. I work at a level 1 trauma center outside of New Jersey. They've changed insurance plans with minimal impact to employees, offering different tiers at different costs. It's possible, so why isn't it being done here? When I watched the April 7th meeting, I was disgusted. Everything looked neat and fancy on your PowerPoint. You had charts and projections and numbers, but none of it accounted for the real impact. Let's talk about that impact, shall we? My kindergartner already has 25 students in her class this year, when you stated the average was 21. When Westbrook closed, my older daughter's kindergarten class jumped to 29 per class before another class was added to balance it out. She remains one of 3 second grade classrooms at Maple Road. With that being said, do you have that flexibility now? Or are we looking at 30+ kids per classroom? What are the classroom sizes going to be when my 3-year-old starts kindergarten in a few years? People say kids are resilient, but not every child is the same. When I told my daughters they might have to change schools or their friends may go to another school, they were devastated. My 2nd grader told me she doesn't want to go to school unless it's at Maple Road. Dr. Kitchen, or frankly, any board member, are you going to drag them on the bus to their new school knowing fair well they want no part of it? Are you going to be at this possible new school day in and day out for my daughter, showing them around until they feel comfortable with their surroundings? Are you going to introduce them to the many upon many new faces they will see in the first few weeks? Now, times that by hundreds. What may look good on paper is not always the clear-cut answer in solving your mismanaged problems. And truly, I understand my 2nd grader, because I lived it. I had to switch schools as a child after forming close relationships, and I never fully recovered. So now I ask you, will you cover the therapy some of these children may need? Will you pay for the extra tutoring when overcrowded classrooms impact learning? Or is that just another financial burden placed on West Milford families? I especially feel for the PK families who are being forced to move. At the very least, they should have a choice in where their children go, especially if they already have connections in other schools. To the PK parents in the entire West Milford community, stay strong. Keep speaking up, because our children deserve better than rushed decisions, short-term fixes, and a lack of transparency. We are not asking for perfection. We are asking for planning, accountability, and respect. And trust me when I say we are not going away. Thank you.
Jessica DiGiacomo, Greendale Drive, Oak Ridge. I am a Paradise Knoll mom. I'm going to start with one of your goals. One of the district goals for 2025-2026 school year is to establish clear and consistent lines of communication at all levels and for all district stakeholders. When the closure, or let's call it what it is, repurposing of Westbrook was decided, it was presented with evidence, the Herber study, and you provided a succinct timeline. There is no parallel to the closure of Paradise Knoll here. When Westbrook was closed, they had an entire committee dedicated to restructuring, and they presented multiple times at multiple board meetings. September 2022, preliminary restructuring proposal was introduced. The restructuring plan was proposed prior to budget approval, and that was in November of 2022. Redistricting was provided to the community prior to budget approval as well. This budget was presented and approved in April 2023. During this time from the restructuring presentation, it was stated that they would maintain space for general education, and special such as music, art. To date, PK already has art on a cart. There is no designated space for this special. How are we going to maintain spaces for specials by closing yet another school? You're adamantly stating class sizes will not exceed 24 students, but they already have. At the time of Westbrook's closure, board members themselves presented concerns on the budget, including, to quote, teacher positions being cut, elementary classroom sizes being too large, proposed cuts to athletics, questions about a demographic study and building utilization study, and other positions being cut. That's from the April 26, 2022 board meeting minutes. The data used then in this same study and data that we're using today was from the Haber study, included census data from 2015 to 2022. It was proposed that district enrollment would cap at 2,600 students. To date, from your information on the Board of Education website, there are 3,400 students. Reviewing multiple board meeting minutes and budget presentations from years past, it is clear that budgets are started way before March. It was stated that there was short notice of the closure of PK due to limited state aid funds that you only received in March. However, in past budget presentations, there were multiple slides tracking this trend, as well as the trend of increasing healthcare costs. What were the alternative plans? Where are the numbers in full transparency? We still do not have those answers. It is easy to pick the most obvious solution to close a school, and then to say, if we don't, more teachers will have to go. I ask you, have we cut enough admins? Or for that matter, their ancillary staff? Does everybody need a secretary? Have we looked at maybe closing the Board of Ed office that costs us utilities and moving those into schools, possibly Westbrook? Have we looked into whether we are truly maximizing the potential of Westbrook's use? Have we looked at cutting transportation costs? What is the plan for Paradise Knoll? We have yet to have those answers. What are the other options? We, the community, have the right to know. The closure of Westbrook was presented as a collaborative effort, from what I can tell from when I read the past minutes, with transparency at the forefront. You are closing another school, yet our taxes are going to increase. You can blame the state, but you must take accountability as well. And please note, while it is not required of you to provide an answer to questions asked during public comment, it is a choice. And sometimes when you don't answer, that is more than enough. Dr. Kitchen, at the last meeting, you told us that we didn't need to create a voice to the state. You needed us to echo yours. However, you have that backward. It is you who should be echoing our voices. What an opportunity you have today to rethink this decision and present all options in full transparency to us going forward. Because I can assure you this will determine your tenure on this board. And I promise you, I cannot wait for my seat at the table, where I will be sure to hold you accountable every day until it makes you uncomfortable to hold that seat. To the community, this fight isn't over. This budget needs to be presented to the county and state. Buchanan should report everything to the state and appeal the education commissioner. We have 30 days to do so, and I implore everyone to do so.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Before we close public comments, Mr. Strovich, because I can see you're getting ready, I just want to actually read into the minutes the email that we got from the parent who could not come tonight, if that's okay, and then we can close. So we received, the Board of Education received an email from a parent today who wanted to come to the April 7th meeting and couldn't, and was unable to come tonight, so I'm going to read her statement that she sent us. This is from Mrs. Brienne Bauer of 13 Sussex Drive, West Milford. I was planning on coming to the Board of Ed meeting on April 7th and had even prepared to speak. Unfortunately, the news about which school was closing came out earlier that afternoon, so I made the very difficult decision to not attend the meeting, but instead go home to tell my child that I was in fact his school that would be closing. I decided to stay home and console my child instead of coming to the meeting. Below is what I had intended to say that night. For those of you who don't know me, I am both a parent and an educator. I have 3 boys, a senior, a freshman, and a 4th grader. I have also been a 1st grade teacher for 24 years. To be honest, I have no idea why I'm up here right now. Absolutely nothing I say here tonight will change the outcome of this meeting or the trajectory of education in this district. Regardless, here I am. Throughout my career, I have watched education change. Then again, perhaps it hasn't changed. Perhaps my eyes have just been opened and I have stopped believing that administration and boards of education actually care about their students or their teachers. The entire system at this point is broken, and it makes me so sad. Sad as a parent, sad as an educator. I have come to realize that there is not a single person in education that actually cares about what happens to the students, aside from the teachers that spend hours upon hours with them each and every day. Yes, we can blame the state and their lack of funding, but what you as a board and as an administration have done is a disgrace. You have a responsibility to the children of this town, and you are failing them. You, not the schools, certainly not the teachers, you have known the money would not last forever, and instead of making decisions that would benefit the students, you made decisions that benefited, well, I have no idea who they have benefited. You are failing the children of this town, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. And not that you care, but you are failing the teachers. The very people who do care about the children in this town, they put countless hours and their own money, some thousands of dollars, into their teaching, their planning, making sure they are giving their students the best. They need to spend their own money on their classroom supplies and worse, to supplement the programs that you pay money for that don't work, that don't actually benefit the kids. Data doesn't benefit the students. Technology, iReady, IXL, Linkit doesn't benefit the students. Small class sizes benefit the students. Shorter bus rides to and from school benefit the students. Teachers benefit the students. As I said earlier, I was planning on saying all of the above at the meeting before I knew it was PK that would be closing. Now that I know, I have more to say. As you can expect, there was a lot of tears when I told my son, 4th grade, in the news from both of us. The only time I have ever seen my child cry that much was when his grandfather died almost 2 years ago. This is an unbearable loss to the children of PK. After the sobbing stopped, he hid in his room for a while, not even wanting to say hello to his father when he came home from work. Then when he did finally come out, the first question he asked was not about him, not about his friends, but about his teachers. He asked about what if Miss Hogue and Miss Cohen don't end up in the same school? What will happen to the junior musical? What if I'm not in the same school as them? This is what he thought about. Not what friends he will be with, not what school he will go to, but what happened to the junior musical and brought to the children of PK. The musical that my son had the honor of being a part of the last 2 years as crew manager, a role that was given to him last year as a 3rd grader because he was not a child who was comfortable being in the show but still wanted to be a part because of the show that something like this brings to his school. The teachers knew that he could handle because they know him. They know this because of their love and dedication to the students of PK. They know this because, as it was said over and over again during the board meeting, PK is a family. As a parent and community member, I am devastated that another school in our town is closing. The fact that it is PK makes it much worse, not for my child who needs to move schools, but for all the other families and children who will never see what a magical place PK is. I have been a teacher for 24 years. I have been blessed to work in the same building, in the same classroom my entire career. Although I have made some amazing friends along the way, I watched my colleagues get married, have children, and send their children off to college, and they have seen me do the same. We have never seen a family. When my son started at PK in 2013, I was a nervous first-time mom, sending my baby off into the unfamiliar world of school. Over the past 13 years, my family has been a part of the PK family without any interruption. I have watched PK parents get married, have babies, and send their babies off to college. I have developed relationships with them and watched their relationships with each other flourish and grow. For the past 13 years, I have been envious of the relationships they have with each other. The staff is a true family. I have had the pleasure of watching their relationships with my children grow. They have attended my kids' baseball games, basketball games, and soccer games. They ask about my children that are no longer their students. Many of them have known them literally since the day he was born. PK is not just another school, it is truly an institution. Again, I say this as a parent, but also as an educator. There is no other place like it. I hope you realize what you are doing by closing it down. I hope you realize what you are doing to this town by shutting down a second school in 3 years. This time with no notice and certainly no plan. I hope you start to manage the district's money and resources better starting now so we aren't in the same position next year. The teachers and the students that you represent deserve better. Okay, so I'll just ask one more time, anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi, my name is Amanda Shank. I live at 54 Round Poe Road.
So can I just ask one thing? Is there anyone else that's wishing to speak after this person? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have to extend.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to extend public comments for 30 more minutes.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, sorry, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Honestly, I didn't plan on getting up here to speak tonight, but sitting back and hearing all these comments is very hard to sit there and bite my tongue. PK is closing, not Marshall Hill, but my neighborhood is one of the ones that have been swirling around being possibly moved. And there's been a lot of personal struggles with my older son, who I had to pull out to homeschool this year. Halfway through the year, I've gotten him to a place where he wants to come back to school next year, finish his 5th grade year in Marshall Hill. If we are moving schools, that is not an option, and actually, my other two don't want to go to school if that happens. I just got voted in to be PTA president for Marshall Hill next year. This decision affects so many families, not only PK. I am begging you to prove us wrong, that you have already decided on your vote. I am begging you to look into Westbrook. Can it generate an income? Can we keep PK open by putting those students back into the high school? Can we sell Hillcrest? Have you done everything to make these families not be affected in the way that they are? That's all.
Hi, my name is Danny Drexler, and I live in West Milford for almost 39 years. And I only know one person on the board, so I haven't been at a board meeting in 30 years. I live in Farmcrest. I live at 169 Greendale Drive in Oak Ridge. I think I'm the 5th guy from Greendale Drive. It's an absolutely wonderful neighborhood. My wife and I decided a few years ago that we're going to stay there because it's a great neighborhood. It's a fantastic neighborhood. And I also know that living in West Milford, most people in West Milford do not know where Farmcrest is. Okay? So, I only have one question, and this really, really bothers me. I sit here all this time and listen to this going back and forth. All right? And I know for whatever reason you're not allowed to answer the questions. Okay? But here's my question. Are all these people, are they telling the truth? Or are they telling the truth that there's no transparency? Because if they are, you should all be ashamed of yourself. Thank you.
Eileen Basket, 48 Jefferson Street, Oak Ridge, the forgotten side of town. I am a PK kid, Okay, I'm an old lady, but once a PK kid, always a PK kid. My 7 sons were PK kids. I moved back to Oak Ridge from Toms River so my children could have the same PK experience that I did. Like Judy, who was our PTA president, my granddaughter was about to become a PK kid. Like Ron, PK is my backyard, literally my backyard. My kids used to say, why are there people on our baseball field or basketball court? I'd say, it's really not ours. It feels like it. PK is our home. PK is different than these other schools. PK is in the center of our neighborhoods. And I know a lot of you have PK connections. Some of you even went to PK. You know PK is different. The teachers there are like family. I'm nervous even though I'm a teacher and I talk my ass off all day. When I decided to become a teacher, as a mom, a PK teacher wrote my letter of recommendation because I was not a teacher. But we were so enmeshed with the teachers, they're like my family. To break up that staff and spread them out like a deck of cards is a travesty. PK is our home. Has anyone even taken a study of the babies being born in Farm Crest? Go to the Easter egg hunt, you'll see thousands of future PK kids there. I know this is not an easy decision. I worked in Jefferson, I work in Butler. They're totally different stories, but Jefferson and West Milford are in the same position, but it doesn't have to be PK. PK is different. We have 80 square miles. PK is our side of town, and we exist. Find another way. There is another way. Please vote no. Please vote no. You have to look yourselves in the mirror and know that you did your due diligence. Did you? Please vote no.
Denise Drexler, 169 Greendale Drive, Oak Ridge, New Jersey, which is Farm Crest. For some of you who might know me, first of all, I want to say thank you for volunteering. I know this is a thankless job. I taught in this district for 38 years. I have a vested interest. Not only do I pay my taxes here and have done so for 39 years, my boys were PK Panthers. I just want to know, have you exhausted everything? I taught here and never was anyone encouraged to write to the state, to call the governor, to do anything until Jefferson started and then these people started. It's too little, too late. What are you going to do, devastate this town? Ray, your neighborhood is shot. My neighborhood is shot. Crescent Park will be shot. Bald Eagle will be done. We'll be a town of dispensaries, pizza shops, and I don't know what else. This is like a fly-by-night decision. I don't mean to insult anyone. I know how hard you guys work, but I don't think the due diligence has been done. There's too many educated people in my neighborhood who just got up here and spoke, and they know the facts. I'm not sure you guys know the facts. I mean, everybody now is sending the emails, the texts to their assemblymen, to everyone else. This should have been done before Westbrook was closed. And this should have been encouraged by the Board of Education. Once again, I'm not looking to insult anyone. I do believe that volunteerism is on its way out, and I appreciate what you do, but I think you need to table this vote tonight. I think it needs to be recalled. Look, I taught in the high school, I taught in Macapin, and I taught in Marshall Hill. My main career was in the high school. We were a family of 100 and some teachers. Those kids were a family of 100 and some. That's this community. When I went to Marshall Hill, unfortunately, I was moved against my will. Did you want to see a woman of my age cry because they took me out? Yes, I did cry. So imagine a kid. My husband said to me, go retire. And I said, nope, I'm not going to do that. Did I have a wonderful 4 years at Marshall Hill? I absolutely did. Learned to love little kids. Well, I was a special educator. I was used to the high school. I was used to running a voc ed position, but I adapted. Kids will adapt, I get that, but this is not so easy. And every school looks at themselves as a family. I get that, but that's West Milford. That's not every other town. Please rethink your decision tonight. Please table the vote, and please listen to the people who are asking you to listen. Thank you.
Hi, Lynette Gonzalez, Greendale, Oak Ridge. I'm here because the way this closure was handled is just as damaging as the decision itself. We are told that Paradise Knoll must close because of the budget, but the process we've witnessed hasn't been about tough choices. It's been about avoiding accountability. Let's be honest, the last-minute notice wasn't an oversight, it was a strategy. By waiting until the 11th hour to drop this on us, you purposely hindered this community's ability to organize and fight for our kids. You didn't give us a seat at the table. You gave us a finished script and expected us to just accept it. And when we did ask questions, what did we get? We got the cold shoulder. We got generic copy and paste emails that didn't answer a single thing. It is incredibly disrespectful to treat concerned parents and dedicated teachers like a PR problem, to be managed rather than stakeholders to be heard. If increasing health benefit costs justified closing a neighborhood school, you would have shown us the work. Instead, you hid behind automated replies. You are elected to serve this community, not to circumvent it. I am calling on this board to pause this vote and provide the transparency we deserve to know. Okay.
My name is Yolanda Bernal. I live in 990 Union Valley Road, West Milford, and today I bring somebody special, and she wants to say something. This is my daughter Isabella. She's a Paradise student.
Hello, my name is Isabella Caldas. I'm in 3rd grade Mrs. Ricker's class. I want to say to please not close my school because in my opinion, it's the best school ever.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Good afternoon. My name is Christina Soma. I live 56 Timber Lane, Newfoundland, and I do know where Farm Crest is. So I come here today to share my husband's words. If I get choked up, it's because he's a man of few words, and for him to actually put it out there was huge. So he writes, "The foundation of any community is the family, and for many small communities, the schools serve as an extension of the family. Paradise Knoll has been that for my family and my children. It meant all the hallmarks of family for us. A group of compassionate individuals for whom care and concern became reciprocal. We trusted our daughters' teachers, and my daughters trusted them. My wife knows many of them personally, exchanging phone calls over birthdays, accomplishments, highs and lows," which, by the way, one of the teachers texted me, "How am I doing with the closing?" And I should be texting her. Paradise Knoll became part of our family, and those walls hold some of our most cherished memories. From talent shows to musicals, woo! To father-daughter dances, to award ceremonies, my children learned to read there and made relationships and friendships that mean the world to them. They trust the people there. They love the place, and because of them, I love it too, and he doesn't love many things. Now, it's been decided that Paradise Knoll is going away, and while I've tried to understand the financial dilemma that led to the decision, I can only understand that part of it on the most cold, calculating, and inhuman level. On a human level, a decision was made to destroy a family to make ends meet. The move needed to be made, I guess, and I wish not to debate that, but let's not bury mortality underneath that necessity. A decision was made to tear apart a family, to destroy a place of comfort and trust for my children, and regulate the place of some of our fondest memories to the killing fields of financial mismanagement. If there were any integrity left in those that made the decision, they would have been at the school today looking at those children in the eyes when the news broke. There was no other choice, some say. Then look it in the eye. Wipe the tears of the children whose family you made the necessary decision to destroy. Have the guts to get out from behind your nameplates and microphones and face the ones you needed to hurt. They are children. In time, they'll likely forgive you, but I could tell you, he won't. I am old and angry and jaded. I will never forgive you for the look in my daughter's eyes this morning. I would only ask that those behind these decisions face what they have done on a human level and do whatever it is in their power to do right by these kids. Keep them together. Make a genuine effort to make this transition as smooth as it can be for them. You owe them at least that. For anyone else involved in this tragedy, and it's nothing less of that, do your homework, follow the money trails, and use your vote and use your voice to try to prevent from this happening again. It's my child this time, might be yours next. A concerned citizen, Jerry Soma. Thank you.
Hi, I didn't plan on speaking tonight, but my name is Selena Kabathian. I live at 45 Post Place, Newfoundland, for 50 years. My children all went to PK, of course. And of course, I can say all the wonderful things. It was a great school. It is a great school. My grandson goes there now. My granddaughter graduated from there last year. I'm planning on other grandchildren I have to go there. But I would implore you, if there is any way that you could delay your vote and reconsider what's going on or look for different ways, I would implore you to do so. I can see no harm in going over this problem one more time. You can see the township, and I'm sure all people who have kids who would be affected feel the same way. I mean, we have a personal interest in PK, but there's other schools in the whole, but I don't see how this is the only school on that side of town. It affects our real estate. It affects the children. It's the only school on that side of town. You're going to ask people that live all the way up by Canister Road, all the way down in Oak Ridge, where their children are, and it's the most high-functioning school in town. You do need, I don't see any harm in anything to delay your vote, reconsider, and at least give it a try. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chris Mallon, 14 Post Place, Newfoundland, New Jersey. I was here last time complaining I have to get my kids to bed, and I have to get my kids to bed, who are sitting back there right now. My youngest is 5. He was going to go into kindergarten at PK next year. My oldest was excited to show him around. Now, if this vote goes through, obviously that's not going to happen. I know that's not high on the agenda, but one thing I'd like to say is I'm very impressed with the parents and the research they've done in finding all these solutions for this issue in, what is it, 3 weeks? 21 days. So 21 days, they've come up with this many solutions. I don't understand how these solutions didn't come out to begin with. But anyway, as for looking in the mirror, if you are going to vote to close the school, take a look back there. Tell my kids you're going to close their school. Because I'm at a point where I'm not going to say the things I want to say because my children are here. So God bless. Please delay this. Try to find a different way to go about it because it's going to affect people more than I think anyone here is even saying. It's a travesty.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
I already spoke. I need just 1 minute of your time. The first time I spoke, I did not attack this Board of Ed. Today when I spoke, I did not attack this Board of Ed. We're sitting here in the second row, and I'm watching one of your Board of Ed members sitting with a bored look on her face, chewing gum with her mouth open. This is disrespectful. This is disrespectful. These parents are crying. I have people crying next to me.
And I think your point's been made, but that's not what public comment's for, so thank you for the comment.
This is exactly what public comment is for. I am the public, and I'm making a damn comment.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Maggie Smith, 41 Grove Street. I just have one last comment that I want to make. I don't know how much time you guys were given to make this decision and possibly come up with alternatives or what you could have done to fix this, but you guys haven't, so I'm asking that you give us, like you have only given us 21 days, give us the time to do what you haven't. Let us reach out to the state, let us do what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks where we've actually made leeway, not the leeway that we need to keep the school open, but we're on the right path. Look at Jefferson. Look how much they've done in how many months that they've had. Give us that same chance. Give our kids the same chance that every other kid in this district should have been given. And this isn't just as a PK parent. I have other friends who work in the district whose kids are fearful of moving schools because our school is closing. This has such a domino effect that I don't think any of you truly understand or care to really make a point to even want to understand. Give us the chance to do what you haven't.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we're going to move on to, could I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented with the amendments that are noted?
I move to adopt the agenda as presented, including the amendments.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Sitovich, can you move operations and finance, please?
Motion 11.2, motion to close Paradise Knoll Elementary School. Whereas, as a result of legislation known as S2, the state of New Jersey has reduced the district's state aid allocation from $15,012,248 in 2018 to 19 to $5,819,380 for the 2025-26 academic year. And whereas the state of New Jersey announced a maximum increase in state aid of 6%, and whereas several districts received above the state's self-imposed maximum increase, and whereas West Milford School District state aid accounts for only 8% of the total operating budget, far below the majority of districts across the state. And whereas West Milford School District received a 6% increase in state aid, which accounted for an increase of $349,163, or $119 per student, or 0.4% of our total operating budget. All metrics that fall far below the vast majority of districts across the state. And whereas the district has seen a large increase in expenses, highlighted by a 21% increase in health benefit cost, equating to over $3.4 million. And whereas the increase in cost and lack of equitable and appropriate state aid has resulted in a significant budgetary deficit. And whereas the board believes the West Milford School District currently has the appropriate staff and facilities to meet the needs of our students across a geographically large district. And whereas the board has determined that necessary measures must be taken to address the budget deficit, including but not limited to significant cuts to those staff members and facilities. And whereas the board believes these cuts may be detrimental to the operation of our district, but are necessary based on the financial constraints created by inadequate funding. Now, therefore be it resolved that the board approves the closure of Paradise Knoll Elementary School as a cost savings measure for the 2026 to 2027 school year, and be it further resolved that students from Paradise Knoll Elementary School will be placed in other remaining schools across the district. And be it further resolved that the board authorizes and directs the superintendent and administrative team to ensure the closure of Paradise Knoll Elementary School is handled in a way that minimizes the impact on students and ensures all students district-wide have access to a free and appropriate education that meets their needs and maximizes, I don't have the last word, their opportunities for success. Anybody second?
Did I have a second? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Mrs. Marquardt?
I'll be voting no on the school closure plan. In my opinion, this is a short-term fix to a long-term problem. We can't keep taking a Band-Aid approach and creating the same issue down the road. We need to look at the district as a whole and configure it in a way that maximizes our staff and our facilities. If we're going to do this, we should do it the right way and put ourselves in a position where we're not back here again in a few years. West Milford is one community, and our kids deserve an equitable education no matter what street they live on. The current school model is no longer financially sustainable, and it continues to create uneven educational experiences for our children. That's why I've been talking about moving to a grade banding model, which would allow us to use our buildings more efficiently, creating consistency across the district and making sure all students have access to the same opportunities. We've heard a lot about the great things happening at PK. The reality is, under our current model, those kinds of opportunities aren't always consistent across buildings. With grade banding, we have the ability to make those experiences available to all of our kids. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for our kids. We may not all agree on how to get there, but we should be able to have that conversation with respect and remember that our children are looking to us to set the tone. Approving the budget tonight doesn't lock us into one specific implementation plan. If the closure plan doesn't move forward as presented, the administration would need to come back with a revised plan for how to achieve savings and restructuring built into the budget. That gives us the opportunity to continue this conversation and work towards a more thoughtful, long-term solution that better serves the entire district.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
I will be voting yes on the budget because it is well put together. This is on the budget.
Excuse me, can you please let her speak?
Because it is well put together and keeps the districts in compliance. However, I feel I need to vote no on the closing of PK. Not because I don't believe that we have a fiscal responsibility to meet, but because I am not in agreement with the plan for restructuring our elementary schools. I don't feel it will address our district's needs moving into the next few years and will bring us back to restructuring again. I still believe there is time to have the discussions and work out a plan that will strengthen our elementary schools and stabilize the students' learning environment. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Mr. Guarino?
So I heard about the 21 days, and I've thought about that also. On April 7th, Dr. Kitchen mentioned the staff and how wonderful the staff are, and many of you said that here tonight also. As many of you know, these staff members, they spend their own money on top of the minuscule amount that the school system provides them. They buy cleaning supplies, tissues, pencils, and more. These teachers give money from their own salaries. Oh, and by the way, you parents do the same thing, right? Besides the property taxes that you pay and besides the state income tax you pay, you buy those tissues and you buy those cleaning supplies and you buy all these things for the classrooms. This happens while other school districts are flush with money, never having to think about those things. Dr. Kitchen also mentioned that we got the, quote, equal amount of, I think you said 200 or so other school districts of 6% increase. Well, we supposedly live in a state that subscribes to equity, not equality. Clearly, that's not the case for West Milford. Interesting that the state gave the max 6% increase to West Milford and the other school districts. And I think Will just read that. In some of those places, I think Dr. Kitchen mentioned it was $1,500 per student. West Milford got $119 per student. So where's the equity for West Milford? Is it right to close a school? I mean, that remains to be seen. As a fiscal conservative, when you look at things, it may be the right thing. Do I want to close PK? No. As a former PK Panther? No. For all my friends out there, Mrs. Kafafian, say hi to Lee. I would say there are probably some other things that we can do to think about looking at how we might do this. So I'm very conflicted in this because physically it makes sense as a former PK Panther, and there's two of them up here, but I'm the only one that lives in Newfoundland and Oak Ridge, so it's a tough thing. So that's it. You'll see. Yep. Thanks.
Any other discussion? Mrs. Sitovich?
I'm voting yes, because it's for the students, ultimately. Because what I know, and what we've said since 2017 is we've had, 1, a decline of enrollment, 2, a decline of state aid to the tune of, where are we at, almost $10 million. That covered by a 2% tax increase every year, because that's what we're fixed at. I didn't see anybody here. I saw 3 people here when we had to increase taxes twice in 1 year. Twice in 1 year. And here we are. We are all board members that have the same information for years on end. And to vote no at this time is kind of crazy to me. It's crazy to me because we know that there are recurring expenses that need to be cut. We've done one-time fixes every single year in order to save a school. And
please let him speak.
We know that COVID-19 was what saved this from happening earlier. We had foresight from Mrs. Francisco to save in our capital reserve to make sure that projects went through. Guess what? We're not going to be able to do projects. And if we don't close Paradise Knoll, the first project, there's the heat in that building, and we know from our administrator that runs those buildings that we have a functionally obsolescent heating system. We can't get those. Excuse me!
I'm sorry, but you need to let him speak. You've had your time to speak. Now it is Mr. Sitovich's time to speak. Please be quiet.
And to vote no at this time, after what we have discussed and all the information that we were given and the opportunities that we did have to bring it behind closed doors, and to now we're at the precipice of, if we don't do this, we have to pick another school that's younger, that doesn't have the improvements that are needed. And then we have the ultimate responsibility. You want small class sizes? You want small class sizes? We have to close this building because it's either a building or it's people. It's buildings or people. We know from the presentation, which I really do wish we had tonight, I really do, because we see the pie chart that had over 87% of totally fixed costs that are based on salaries and benefits. And the rest of it is for programs, it's for buses, it's for all these things in that small sliver of a pie. And here we are on the final night of probably the most important decision that I've seen in this board, and I've been involved for long enough. I lost 2 elections because I said, hey guys, we really need to take a look at this. Hey guys, we really need to look at closing the school because we don't have the money. We don't do it this year, guess what happens next year? We're already starting out with millions of dollars of a deficit next year. And what reoccurring costs are you going to pick from that small piece of the pie? Should everybody drive their kid to school? It's called rhetoric. So with the possibility of this failing, then we will fail this whole district.
Please let him speak, be respectful. He was quiet while you were speaking. Please be respectful of his time and allow him to speak.
You know, I respect the yeses, the nos, and abstentions that happen. You've seen it. But for this to come the night of, and that we still have no's, and to know that after this, let's say we postpone it. Let's say we postpone it to the very end and we don't close a single school. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I hope the same people who came out tonight come out for all the teachers that we do have to lay off. Because that is the next step. We don't have the money. I wish that it was nefarious things going on in the board office. I do. That makes the job easier. Then we could say, hey, let's do some policing activity and get this taken care of. We don't have that. We're running on a thin budget. And the next things that get cut are the teachers. The next things that get cut are the programs. The next things that get cut are the infrastructure that keeps these kids on the cutting edge of what is a very challenging world. I wasn't going to speak tonight. Usually I prepare a statement. I had a 20-minute statement for a budget several years back. It wasn't to the happiness of my peers, but there was a lot of important stuff. What we know about West Milford is we have about 10,000 homes. You know how many we'll have in 25 years? About 10,000 homes. We will never grow this town. We are severely restricted. We will always be severely restricted. We can't vote no on this. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but if this fails, the outcome is going to be awful, and it's going to be awful for the students. So I ask that there's a reconsideration. I would hope that there's a full board that says, okay, we need to move forward in what is a hard thing. I don't take away anything from the upset parents. I really don't. I think that this is awful. But when the same team has run the show for 20 plus years in Trenton, and each and every time we have a group like this that rallies up, that group also gets hurt by the same team that's running the show. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? We could close 3 schools, and we may not come to the point of being sustainable. Because the state will leave us high and dry. So I ask the no's and abstentions, please reconsider your vote, because I think, in my opinion, that's the only right way to go to make sure that our district is sustainable. And we haven't even gotten to the point of sustainability by closing 1 school.
Is there any other discussion from board members? Okay, Mrs. McQuad?
First of all, I didn't just come up with my objection to this evening. The administration, as well as other board members, know that I did not support this plan from the beginning. It's not that I do not support closing the school.
But can you explain what your plan is, Mrs. McQuad?
Grade banding is.
Thank you.
Grade banding in a town like West Milford looks like having two regional sections of the district where, for example, you would have Upper Greenwood Lake and Marshall Hill be the north region of the district. You would have, say, Marshall Hill have K through 2, and Upper Greenwood Lake have grades 3 through 5. Then on the opposite side of town, pick 2 schools. I would not even dream of picking PK. Let's say we pick Opshua and Maple Road, and Opshua has K through 2, and Maple Road has 3 through 5. You're able to reduce costs by sharing specials. You're able to reduce costs by frankly needing less staff. I am not saying it is the end-all answer. What I'm saying is that I asked to have grade clusters and other options looked at. I understand how people feel. I do not and will not have someone tell me that I don't care about the students, because I have a child in elementary school in this town. I worked in this high school for years. I live here, and I have a vested interest. And because my opinion is different on how we get there, does not mean I'm an irresponsible board member or that I do not care. I have spent over a year researching this. And for someone to say that my no just comes tonight is very, very, I can't even tell you, it just really insults me. I don't ever vote anyway on the cuff, and there are many recommendations that our superintendent puts forward that I vote no to, because I do my own research, my own homework. Every board member up here has their own vote. Every board member up here is entitled to their opinion, and no one should be bullied into voting a way that they don't
feel. Yes, so, I took notes, everyone that came up and spoke, and those of you that asked some questions, right, I'm gonna make sure we get those answers and get them back to you. But 24 of you came up here and spoke, and there probably could have been 64, maybe 104 of you to come up here and speak. And some of the, obviously the biggest themes are transparency, listening, trust. And then what I thought was really big was not enough time to help make a difference, right? 21 days, when you guys did in 21 days. What would happen if you had 64 days or 180 days to do that, right? So I heard all that, and I heard the things about, hey, can we maximize the use of Westbrook and cut some spending in some other areas. There were some things about some grants, something that we should look into it, and I think that, I know that Dan looks into grants constantly, so don't think that he's not going through those things. And then just raising awareness, so that it just sticks with me. Did more in 3 weeks than you're saying that the Board of Education did in 3 years. Remember that we are, as a Board of Education, right, we vote yes and no on what the administration gives us. So that's our opportunity to be your voice, right? To vote yes or no. Just realize that, right? We're a governance board, right? So we don't run the school district, the administration does, but we're here to listen to you and then take your voice to them. So know that you were heard.
Any other discussion? Mrs. Stovich?
There was a whole document that was put together of answering questions from the last meeting. I'm not against answering questions that were furthered from this evening, but there is already something that's out there, and it could be sent out again, I'm sure. There's more from, and that's fine. If there's more, I move to go to a committee of the whole while we do this. That way it's more of a back and forth and more. Okay, I second that. There's a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you so much. So,
Can you explain what the committee of the whole is?
Okay,
Because
the committee
they said they're opposed, they don't want to be opposed.
So the committee of the whole it allows us to openly speak, because when we are in a regular meeting, we run under what's called Robert's Rules, and there's a method that you have to do it, and you really only get one opportunity to speak up here, and really a back and forth isn't how it normally is designed. Now, a committee of the whole basically is like the closed door session that we would have when we meet. We're not allowed to have a quorum, so we have 4 people that meet, and we can just, openly talk. I'm like, hey, Ray, and hey, Linda, and so on and so forth. When you're in a regular meeting, you have more of a professional veil to everything. So this is going to give us an opportunity to openly discuss with the freedom to go back and forth organically.
Mrs.
I don't know what
Ricano?
to do. You wanna...
I'll let Mrs. Ricano speak first because she hasn't spoken yet.
First of all, I want to apologize to everybody for my tardiness. If you know my record, and I had some place to be, and I got here as soon as I could. I just want to get some clarity. I mean, I know the answer to this question, but want to make sure the public knows the answer to the question. If there is a vote of no, what happens?
Like, as far as the budget, or as far as...
I think it's a twofold question. Whether, if we vote no on PK, what happens? If we vote no on the budget, what happens?
Or if we vote yes on PK, I mean, no on PK and yes on the budget, what happens?
So strictly from an operations and finance side of it, I would have to, it would have to be another school, and then I would also need to find a way to repair the heating unit. And as you know, that is about $800,000. So I still need, like I said, the closure of a school, and then something has to be done to come up with that $800,000 because it's not built into the budget.
So can we bond for heating unit? Like, can we put that together and get it on the ballot in November?
I mean, but the problem is we're at really high interest rates. Like what? We're just going to shoot ourselves
Down,
in the
today
foot.
we are.
But what
you can refinance interest rates.
Sure, you can refinance interest rates, and also the ballot referendum could fail, and then what?
Good.
And then there's a heating unit that we can't get parts for and can't do anything more with it.
I'm asking because we had talked about this years ago when we replaced the Marshall Hill roof, right? We've talked about bonding, but the roof needed to be done immediately. Well, here, we have till November, right? So we could potentially try and get this on the ballot for November. It seems like there's a lot of town people that might vote for the bond.
But even if we can get it on a ballot and a referendum for the heating unit, we would still have to close another school. And therefore, we would have to then redistrict the 5th up to Macapin, the 8th up to the high school to accommodate those students having to have seats in the classroom.
Right. The point is we finally have a recurring expense that's actually being done. This is the first time, because it's always been a Band-Aid one-time fix. Whether it's capital reserve gets plugged in, maintenance reserve gets plugged in. We're not going to have any of that. And then next year we're going to have a really, really angry crowd when we have to really upend the district in order to make ends meet. We can only go up so much. This is not an easy decision emotionally, because this is terrible. We all know that. We've all been through that. We've all had to discuss this. But this is an easy decision to move forward in a way that has its huge growing pains, but we need to be sustainable. Otherwise, we're really screwed.
But there are a couple of bills out there. There are a couple of bills out there that are out there not just for West Milford, but for Jefferson and Vernon, Jackson Township. We can go on and on. So just think about this, right? There's like if it's $5 million, then that does keep a school open, doesn't it? The state.
Well, we could also look at different restructuring plans with closing a school. We have not looked at all options that we have not. And to be honest, and to be fair, we could vote no on this plan tonight, and we have the time to look into this more, and we could decide to still close a school and come up with another option where we don't just close the school and do exactly what we did with Westbrook, and then come back here in a couple years and be like, hey, we didn't know. I'm sorry, we just didn't know. And then have to be accountable to all these angry people again. My problem is not, no, we can't close a school. My problem is I do not believe that we have explored all options and we have the time to do so. Even if you vote yes on the button.
But do we have the time to do so if, just let me just say, do we have the time to do so? Because then if we don't close the school and we explore other options, we're still gonna have to close the school, redistrict a whole district. When are we going to let them know, the whole community, where their students are going to, where their children are going to be going in September?
I've heard from a lot of people, and I can tell you my feeling as a parent, I would rather wait and find out after I know that everything's been done. If you lie, then find out now, then get an answer now. I want it, and this is my opinion. I'm answering your question from me, my opinion, Stephanie Marquardt. If it means that this is looked at deeper and we explore all options that I have to wait longer, then I'm okay with waiting longer. That's me and that's my opinion.
Just so you understand though, there still would be a closure of the school. Even with the Band-Aid that you're proposing, there would be a closure of a school.
I have said.
So it's not going to prevent a closure of a school.
And I said that I am not voting no to closing a school. I want the plan to be looked at.
I just want to make sure that they understand that.
I am not saying that I don't want a school closed. I am just saying.
And then Mr. Lippe, it is your turn.
There's been a few things brought up here tonight. And I think closing a school, being a PK alum, Macmillan alum, West Milford alum, some of you went to school with, and everything like that, from a logical and very harsh point of view, we don't have a choice in terms of money. From an emotional point of view, this is killing me, okay? I grew up right behind PK. If you know where the upper field is, that was my house in the back there. That's where I grew up, okay? From what people are talking about, these different assembly bills and different Senate bills that are going through, it's been published, and I'm not an insider with Trenton in any way, shape, or form, but they have stated there is no way they're going to be able to get more money to us for this upcoming school year. It's going to be at least another year. In order to wait another year, we still need to have the cash, unless you don't want to pick a group, administrators, teachers, building lights, everybody.
Let him finish speaking, please.
Now, I think that we're actually in a position, and Stephanie, I do not disagree with what you're saying, okay? I have brought this subject up, closing school, a year ago, okay? My feeling is it's not going to be one, unfortunately. I think with the size of the population that we have here, the way Trenton money is or is not flowing, even with the current blossom of PR and everything that we've seen, I still think that there's no way we're going to be able to make up the $60 million that we haven't gotten over the last 6-7 years. Okay? I wish we had a better plan? I do.
But don't you think then we owe it to ourselves and to the community to look further before we make a decision?
I think sometimes 70% there is better than perfect. And you have to move fast and break things. It's unfortunate.
Okay, I've been waiting for a minute. Let him just finish speaking. Let him finish speaking.
Waggling your finger at me, Linda, so I know it's the whole time. I'm okay. Okay. So, all love. When we're going forward in this, everyone here from PK is saying, how can you close our school? It's a neighborhood school. It's a neighborhood school. If we had announced we were going to close UGL, Marshall Hill, Apshua, Maple Road, we would have had the exact same response. Unfortunately, PK, based on when it was built, how it was built, is our best option. Not the greatest, it is the best option that we have. And Linda, now you can stop waggling.
Okay, I am the most senior board member sitting here. I have sat here 25 years this year, and what I can tell you is the state has always, state mandate, state pay. We had a former board member, God rest her soul, Mitch Howe, who pushed for state mandate, state pay, and the state kept screwing us continually on and on. I can't believe I said that, I'm sorry. But what I'm trying to say is, you can't put your trust in that next year, New Jersey Department of Education is going to do it. They're saying they're going to do it, but all they're saying is they're going to look at it. And unfortunately, I can tell you, I know some of you feel we have done nothing, but in 25 years, I have met with senators. I have sat across the table from them. And you know what they have said? This is the first time I've ever seen it produce fruit, okay, which is wonderful. But they had said to us, you're in the wrong part, your town is the wrong party. I'm sorry. Your town is in the wrong section. I was here when the Highlands Act happened, and we sat here and we said, this is going to impact our community so large that we will never recover from it. And they kept saying, oh no, it's going to be a few dollars, it's only going to be a few dollars. And then S2 came. And we sat here as a board for 7 years, and we watched that chart, and we preached about it. You know what? You're right. Unfortunately, maybe we didn't do enough. Maybe we didn't get on the news media enough or whatever. But we were pounding it. We were trying. The mayor and council over the years has been pounding it to people about the cuts that keep happening. I sat on this board when we voted on budgets, and the budgets went down in this town, and we had to cut $1 million or $2 million. So yes, I understand everybody's frustration, and I agree with you. I have never, in 25 years, not voted for a budget, because I know how important a budget is. However, I am not saying no to closing a school, even though that might hurt some people. In my case, it hurts me personally, okay? But I want to make sure that when we close that building and we shift all these students all over the place, because I've lived through two redistrictings already, okay? I want to make sure that it's the last time that we have to do it, or the least impactful. And if it means that we have to wait until June and these parents cut up here and stand and complain to us because they don't have their bus passes or they don't know where their kid's going, they're going to have to understand, because we want to give them the transparency that they are owed. And I have never sat up here and not wanted to give that transparency. We have, when we closed Westbrook, I was the board president, and I was behind forming that committee so that everybody had a chance to vent and do what they had to do. Unfortunately, in this particular case, and this is not in defense of the administration, but in defense of what is happening in the economy today, we got hit with insurance costs that were unrealistic, even with a business administrator who fought with our broker's firm to get us the best rate we could possibly do. People, we want to do what's best for your kids. I have grandkids. My daughter works in this district. I care about this district. I have lived here for 38 years. I love this community. West Milford is a part of me. But I also know that we have to be fiscally responsible. I am not saying no tonight to not closing school. I am saying no, that I can't support it tonight because I can't support the plan that is laid out, because I want to see more. And if that is the wrong decision on my part, then my one vote is the only vote I have. As an elected official, I have to do what I think is right for the community. And I may be wrong. And you know what? I can do that today, because I can tell you, I am never running again. I am done. But I love this community, and I will fight for it until my last day. Okay? So please understand, if it doesn't go your way with what school, you don't want to see the neighbors across the town be torn apart too like this. You want to see a way of our community coming together and being able to both to agree to disagree with you tonight, because I want what's best for Westfield.
Melissa, I have a question. When is the last day that the budget needs to be passed? May what?
7th. So.
I mean, this is it, folks.
That's the budget without it.
But the budget can pass. No, that's a part of it.
So let me go back to answering Tara's direct question from earlier. So you were asking what would happen if the school closure vote were to be voted down, and then also if the budget were to pass with that. So with the dollars that are in that budget on the revenue side, we would have, and the expenditure side, we would have to find a way to balance those numbers without the savings of that school closure. So there are very few ways to make up that kind of money. You know, and the reality is that personnel is the way that you end up doing it. It is typically staffing cuts. The primary savings of a school closure is staff. So even though we're looking at costs of heating the building, or in this particular case, we're also looking at, you know, some of the one-time costs that go along with that. That's not the year-over-year savings that a school closure nets. It's the staffing that go along with it. So even to look back at the prior school closures, so there's some questions about the Westbrook repurposing and saying that it's not, the school isn't closed, but the primary costs associated with operating that building as an elementary school are the staffing that are associated with it operating as an elementary school. So many of those positions are no longer existing in this district, along with many positions that have been cut over the past really decade with the S2 cuts. So in the absence of, even with this year, with this proposal, the savings is primarily in staff. And as you can see, there are a lot of staff positions that are being cut. We're losing many teachers. We're losing multiple administrators. We're losing multiple support staff members. So the primary savings is in the staffing cuts. In the absence of the building closure, you'll have to make up the difference, likely with additional staffing cuts. And I think one of the biggest factors in that is trying to limit student impact. And while certainly having students change schools that they go to will have a significant impact on those students. But I think the other thing that is the other side of that coin is if you make up that financial difference with more staffing cuts, it will be more impactful on the classroom itself, because what you will see then is you'll have more teachers that are cut, you will have larger class sizes, you will also have in all likelihood, because you're losing, PK has the fewest classrooms that we are losing with a school closure. So if you close one of the other schools, you're going to lose more classrooms. By losing more classrooms, you are going to have almost no choice but to move 5th and 8th grade. We're going to be stretched very thin next year, trying to fit our current structure. To speak a little bit to Stephanie's point about what other options may exist, and I appreciate your perspective on the grade banding model. It has been investigated. We were discussing it at committee. The reality is it's not the recommendation that we're proposing because we don't believe that it is, A, we believe it's significantly more impactful to more students, and B, we think as far as the impact on transportation, it's just not manageable. We are short drivers as it is. If you go to a grade banding model, you significantly increase the burden on transportation, and we just simply won't have the drivers to do it.
What committees was that discussed in? Because I think that we had like some light discussion. I don't think it was ever truly looked into. I don't think that it was, and here's my problem with this, is that we keep on saying if we don't vote to close the school tonight, our balance, we can't submit our budget, we can't vote yes on the budget. That is factually incorrect. We can vote yes on the budget, we can vote no on this particular school closure plan, because we have time to, you have the board members who have said we're going to vote no, who have said it's not that that we will never vote, to close the school. It's that we're not willing to do it tonight because we don't feel that all options have been exhausted. So we could do it next month, and we could even do it the month after that. All right? My problem is that I have heard about the transportation, but I wanna see that because there's other things that can be done and can be looked at. And I was not part of any committee that did a deep dive into doing grade banding like this, not at all like this. I respectfully, I give the administration a ton of credit. I feel terrible for you guys, for anyone who thinks that you haven't lost sleep or that this has been done off the cuff and that you don't care, because that's 100% incorrect. You are an amazing superintendent, and you are an extremely caring person, and you are an amazing assistant superintendent, and you bleed black and gold more than anybody else in this town. And Melissa, you are an amazing BA. So it's not about the lack of effort. I don't feel comfortable that we have explored this, and we do have time, because we can pass the budget tonight, we can submit the budget, and we can come up with a different implementation plan that still involves a school closure, because you have board members who are saying no, not to the school closure, but to the actual restructuring plan. And if we go back to the table and we see 100% that this is the only way we could do it, put it on the agenda next month, and we will vote. We will vote yes for it, or I will vote yes for it. I don't speak for other people. I cannot vote for it the way it is. When we initially spoke and we came up with a presentation that we were going to have, the board met, we were shown a presentation the day before the meeting, that plan changed, and then it was a different plan that was put forward. So a lot of the discussion that we had that night kind of pivoted, okay? So it's not that it's all or nothing tonight. That's factually incorrect. It's that we can 100% pass the budget, and we can look at this and make sure that we're doing this in a way that we're not going to be back here. Because yes, it would be more impactful right now to do grade banding, but how impactful is it going to be in another year or two when you got to close another school and we're going to redistrict again? It's a way to financially safeguard us. I'm just asking for it to be investigated further, that's all.
I just want to clarify a point that was made, because you were a little bit vague about the presentation that changed overnight. So the only change, I believe, in that presentation was the realignment of the grades. So the only thing that changed overnight was originally the grades were going to be realigned. So 5th was going to go to Macapan, and 8th was going to go to the high school, and that was the change that they presented the next day.
And then
I just want to make that clear to the public, because it's obviously when you're saying, yeah.
And the concern was then for someone who sees enrollment number and class size numbers, as you see them, they fluctuate. You know, like when you have kids pushed in, and even though there's an aid, those numbers, they change throughout the day. So my thing is we didn't see any numbers that next night that showed us how the class sizes were coming up. And I still am struggling thinking that we're going to achieve the class sizes that we're being told. So I definitely need to see more. I understand that you sent it out, but what we saw did not answer my question, and unfortunately it came out too close to this meeting for me to have a chance. And that's why I feel like it needs to go back. We need to have more conversation on it.
And that again is still with the closure of the school, but with 5th grade moving up to Macapan and 8th grade moving up to the high school, to be clear. Yeah. So I think at this point we can make a motion to move out of committee of the whole.
I used to have to use the microphone. There is one other thing that I would like to point out as well tonight, and it's nothing to do with this topic here. It does have to do with the budget. There are many people in our community who are looking at insurances because they work in businesses or in organizations that have a lot more leeway with how the people who are participating in medical plans are having to pay for it. And I think a real quick, just a 30,000-foot synopsis as to how this state has tied our hands with how we can receive contributions from our staff members, or when the insurance goes up by 30%, the amount of money that we collect from people who are paying for it.
Well, those are all bargaining and
So
contract.
chapter 44 determines what the contributions are for state employees district-wide, or district employees statewide, in terms of based on how much you make and what you will contribute. So we don't have any control over what the contributions are from staff. It can't be negotiated. It's driven by chapter 44. The costs are shopped around. The costs were heavily shopped around by our broker. It's the reason that we're doing far better than the state average in the increase, but $3.4 million is still a massive number.
But just so that we're clear on this, if I was a teacher with a family and I'm paying, I'll make up a number here, $200 a month for my medical insurance, and the cost per paycheck, and the cost for my insurance goes up by $10,000 a year, I'm still paying $200, okay? So I think there's a lot of people who may not understand the amount of money on that $3.4 million that we were charged. There is a very minor amount only based on the salaries that our people are receiving for what they do, okay? So I just want to make sure that that other people understand that $3.4 million is a fixed cost. We don't get anything extra from anybody who's paying for it. That's all.
Okay. Can I have a motion to move out of committee of the whole?
Sure, I'll make it in 1 second. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. I know you're probably going to be like, oh, you're such a da-da-da. That's okay. I've been there, done that with the public, but honestly, we have a crowd of 1 to 3 people per meeting. If this Highlands Act initiative is really gaining momentum, please just keep fighting for it and truly make the groundwork happen. And this, I mean, I'm not going to vote no, but I just wanted to say thank you and keep up the momentum. Anybody who's hearing behind the people who are yelling at me, please, it really makes a difference when people do show up. And oftentimes, more often than not, 99% of the time, people don't show up. So please.
I think it will. I feel like
Okay, so can I please have a motion?
Yes.
The end of Will's for a second is.
So I asked for a motion.
I move to close committee of the whole.
Wow, shut down.
Second.
All those in favor? You'll still have discussion, but
Aye.
just go out of the, okay, so now we are back to 11.2, the motion to close Paradise Knoll Elementary. Is there any discussion?
No.
This is just on the elementary.
This is just on the elementary school, yeah.
Okay, so
But you'll have another opportunity to,
well, just on the elementary school. If, as I said before, I think we're going to be unfortunately, being in a position where we'll be looking at 2 schools. So to Will's point a moment ago about chasing the Highlands Act fund, the Board of Education funds from the state, even if that cannot and will not affect what we do tonight or this next school year, it can greatly affect what we have to do this time next year. So please, I have written to my own people as a citizen and also as a board trustee, write to everybody, call them, do what you got to do. That was all I wanted to say.
thank you, Ms. Philippi. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call please, Mrs. Patagno.
Mr. Sitovich?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
No.
Mrs. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Mr. Lippy?
Yes.
Mrs. Marquardt?
No.
Mrs. Ricano?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
No.
And Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes. Motion passes.
I'd like to move 11.5 under operations and finance.
Can I have a second? Any discussion?
Should all be ashamed of yourselves.
Seeing no discussion, roll call please, Mrs. Patagno.
Mr. Sitovich?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
It's just a budget, right? Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Mr. Lippy? Mrs. Marquardt?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricano?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
And Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes.
I'd like to move items 11.8 to 11.16 under operations and finance.
Any discussion? I just wanted to speak to 11.11 and thank the West Milford Junior Football Association for the donation of the new sound system at McCormick Field for $30,000. Thank you for your generous donation. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call please, Mrs. Patagno.
Mr. Sotovich?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes, with recommended abstention.
Mrs. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Mr. Lippy? Mrs. Marquardt?
Yes, with recommended abstentions.
Mrs. Ricano?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes, with recommended abstention.
Thank you. And Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes. There are no hand carries for operations and finance, so personnel, student affairs, Mrs. Ricano.
I would like to move items 13.1 through 13.37 and 14.1 through 14.4.
Second.
Before we go into discussion, I would just like to speak to 13.2 and 14.2, the retirements that are on there. I just wanted to acknowledge the staff members who are retiring. Mrs. Sertosimo, I hope I said that correctly, 29 years of service. Mrs. White has given 29 years of service. Mrs. West has given 25 years of service. Mrs. Vidilich, sorry, has given 25 years of service, and Ms. Bosco has given 10 years of service. I just wanted to congratulate them on their retirement for giving all their years and wish them all the best in their next chapter. Any other discussion? Mr. Guarino.
So, Mrs. Sertosimo, who is affectionately known as Senora to a lot of her students, including my two students that had her, congratulations on, would you say 29 years? She was an amazing Italian teacher. Taught my kids, as an Italian who doesn't speak Italian, taught my kids how to speak Italian, and to see the things that they did and the videos that they made, and even my oldest one being able to go to Italy with some from her Italian class. She will be sorely missed, so congratulations. Many wonderful trips to Italy to see family, Vincenza, so thank you for all you did. For my boys specifically.
Thank you, Mr. Guarino. Mrs. McQuarrie?
So, Mrs. White was a student teacher my senior year in co-op business. And I have to say thank you because besides my parents, she was one of the single greatest influences I have for the ethics that I developed, my work ethic. So I still think about her, I still think about that class, and I just truly appreciate the amazing teacher that she was and is right until today. And also I wish Sharon West very best wishes in her retirement. In the time that I worked with her, she was amazing, and I think she'll truly be missed.
Thank you, Mrs. McQuarrie. Any other discussion? Mrs. Van Dyke?
I just want to piggyback on, I was on the board and hired Denise White, and I was very thrilled because she is an outstanding teacher, and she is a wonderful mentor for most of our students. As far as Sharon, I want to say thank you to Sharon because she took on when we broke up our supervisors and created a humanities department, she took on a role that was very large, and she did a wonderful job. And I think the accolades that our music and arts program have gotten have all been have reflected in her supervision of those departments, and she will be missed. I wish her well in her future with her retirement.
Any other discussion on any of the items? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mrs. Patagno.
Mr. Sotovich?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
No to 13.34, yes to all the others with recommended abstentions.
Thank you. Mrs. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Mr. Lippy?
Yes.
Mrs. Marquardt?
Can you come back to me for a second?
Yes.
Sorry.
Mrs. Ricano?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I think I got it right. 13.5, 13.6, and 13.20 are recommended, I recommended abstention.
Thank you.
And yes to the rest.
Thank you. Mrs. Marquardt?
The same.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And Mrs. Lockwood?
So I'm abstaining from 13.23 and yes to the rest.
Thank you.
Education, Mr. Guarino, I'm going to put you to work tonight.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the education agenda items as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mrs. Patagno.
Thank you. Mr. Sotovich?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Mr. Lippy?
Yes.
Mrs. Marquardt?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricano?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
And Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes. Policy, Mrs. Marquardt.
Oh, it's a lot. I would like to make a motion to approve item 17.2.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please, Mrs. Patagno.
Thank you. Mr. Sotovich?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Jurgensen?
Yes.
Mr. Lippy?
Yes.
Mrs. Marquardt?
Yes.
Mrs. Ricano?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
And Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes. Committee reports and liaisons. Is there anyone that would like to speak to anything that didn't have a chance to put anything up? Mr. Lippe.
Wow, look at that. Listen. Well, first, there's nothing attached. Does this mean there's no reports sent in? Or is this board docs going crazy again?
Mine is going crazy, so
So I don't think there was, I don't think there was a Parks and Rec. Safety, there was no.
We should have had a tech report in there, and I just want to thank Dan and his team for everything they're doing, for all the tech they're doing, so that was it.
And I just wanted to speak to the Passaic County School Board. Their next meeting is May 11th at Mario's in Clifton. Wanted to speak to that, and also the NJ.
Wait. Somebody's getting honored for that. Two people are getting honored. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Mrs. Lockwood?
Yes.
And who are those members?
Mrs. Lockwood is getting honored for Master Board certification, and Mrs. Van Dyke is getting honored for 20 years of service.
They missed a couple.
They were consecutive. So there'll be some recognition of West Milford board members that night also. Thank you, thank you. And then I also just wanted to speak to the New Jersey School Boards Association. The delegate assembly is set for May 16th. Our very own Mr. Sotovich will be speaking to a resolution that he submitted on there. And that is all the way down in Mercer County at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May 16th. It's actually a really good experience. Yeah. So if there's nothing else in committee liaisons, let's go to old business. Any old business? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and new business. Any new business?
New business.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Public comment. Has anyone signed up to speak in the second public comment? Mrs. Patagno?
No.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak? Okay, I just have to say, so all speakers will have 5 minutes to speak until a period of 30 minutes transpires. Before speaking, please state your name, group affiliation, and address for the record. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. After speaking, all speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name, group affiliation, and their address. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. No participant may address or question board members individually. All speakers are expected to have read the statement within the agenda regarding the regulations concerning public comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments.
Again, my name is Abby Bejun, 86 Lake Park Terrace in Hewitt, New Jersey. I just want to bring one more thing to your attention, and I believe you just voted yes to it. Some of the staff cuts that you are making, especially at this high school. There is a vice principal that is being cut, and someone else is being put in her position. In my opinion, she's the best thing that happened to this West Milford High School. She makes a great team with Matt. There is a male principal and a woman vice principal, which makes sense for the girls if there is any need to speak with some girls in privacy. Now you're gonna have 2 males in. Wrong decision. I know it's the recommendation of the superintendent, but I do not agree with it. I think she's the best thing that ever happened to this high school, and I think you should reconsider that decision. You guys know who I'm talking about. I know you put numbers, you don't put names out to people, but we know who these numbers are. We all know who these numbers are. She's the best thing that ever happened to this high school. And it's a shame that you're putting someone in her position that is not really fit for that position. And if anything, the one that you moved into his position deserved that position more. Sorry. You need to look more into who is fit for the position and what's better for our students. It's not just a recommendation. I don't care about tenure. I really don't. Because you have some tenure teachers that don't deserve to be teachers. They're not even teaching. Okay? There are people that qualify for the positions, and they're the ones that qualify, that deserve to be in that position. I'm just asking this board to start looking more into the recommendation of the superintendent, because those are going to impact our students, our future of this town. There's so many cuts you can make and not close any schools. Start from the top. As I mentioned earlier, $300,000 for the one position and these 2 secretaries. Okay? And you're telling me that it's all the teachers. Well, how are we saving money if those teachers are all 10 years and they're not going anywhere? How? You're not cutting their positions. We're not saving money. You're just moving them around. And we go back to Westbrook. Everybody, I'm sick and tired tonight of hearing closing Westbrook, closing Westbrook. It's not closed. Westbrook is still open. You just reshuffled the kids, the young ones that you redistrict. And the school is still costing us money. There's 12 students there. There's 25 staff members. There is a lot we can look into to save money in this town and keep the schools all open and not close any. And those parents are fighting. You could put your hands with them and fight for our funding for next year. You can put your hand together, because when you're united with your town, we can move mountains united. But divided, we can do shit. Good night.
Anyone?
So Abby, I want to thank you for speaking on behalf of some of our staff members. Obviously, none of the cuts that we're making our staff members we want to see go. A reduction in force, for anybody that doesn't understand, is it is not a performance-based non-renewal. Reduction in force is literally there is not a seat available for a qualified staff member, and that's what the position that we found ourselves in this evening. So again, even with the closure, we're still in a position where that's something that we need to do. I just want to make a point that as far as some of the bumping is concerned, all those things are in compliance with the legal requirements of who has rights to certain roles. So that is impactful, but I do want to make the point that the recommendation is there will be a female administrator in the role, so it is not all males in that position. Just a point of clarification.
Thank you, Dr. Kitchen. Would you like to come up and speak?
Madam President, Dr. Kitchen, Mr. Novak, and board members. My name is Rudy Haas, 59 Wanacue. I hate microphones. I come to you, make sure I have the right shirt, as the commander of the VFW. Little shift and change, and sorry, this isn't talk about anything, what went on. A few months back, we did, the members of the VFW, we did a flag etiquette and a flag folding class at Actual Elementary School. Great program, the kids were awesome, and then we did veteran story time in there. One of the things I took away from that is that we weren't expecting it, but the school teachers, administrators, personnel, put their kids out to collect unserviceable flags, and they presented those flags to us. Because the VFW partners with the Elks, and we do a flag retirement ceremony, as well as disposing them properly. That thing does not, that beautiful thing right there does not get tossed in the trash or anything like that. And what I feel as the commander, and I have been involved for a long time, many of you all know I'm a retiree, I'm a military retired guy, and I love that. I wanted to expand that to the other elementary schools. So therefore, I come to you with permission to go to all the elementary schools, maybe up to the middle schools, and who knows, we're going to do it here in this school too, at the high school, but to develop a program to where we can come in, teach flag etiquette, because I do. West Milford is a great town. All right, I've been living here for now 14 years since I retired, and I do love it here. My kids went through the school system already, and they're out doing their thing. But I do feel that we still need to teach the younger generations, and that's been my theme since I took over in the VFW here in town, as well as the commander for Passaic County as a whole. So the younger generations need to be taught. Get off social media, learn about that beautiful red, white, and blue cloth that represents so much that we have fought for during all our times. So again, I come to you with a request to open that program up to all the schools, either through you, or we can go individually to those schools and invite them to participate in that program.
I appreciate the offer. I think if you reach out to my office directly, I'll put you in touch with the principals. I think that sounds like a great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I was at Ashland last year when we did that, and I really appreciate it. It was fantastic. It was done. The kids obviously knew what they were doing. You drilled them, and that's not always easy being a former scoutmaster. I know exactly what you're going through, but I'd like to get your name and number for something non-board related after this, if you could.
Too easy. I'll give you a card. And just so I can throw this on there, one of the things we did do at Apshua, and it was a request by the staff, I got to smoke some of the kids, so that was good. Get them in the following rest and in cadence exercise.
A quick question, do you have does the VFW have a drop-off for use unserviceable flags?
Yes, right now our mailbox is over at the Elks because our post was nomads for the longest time. Now we have a home on Warwick Turnpike. We're working to get another box, or I might have to do a clandestine operation to go recover my mailbox from the Elks and take it back up there. But thank you.
Once again, Christine Sauerteig-Pilar, 80 Paradise Road. I'm just curious, because I didn't have anything prepared for after the hatchet fell. I told you that I see PK outside my kitchen window. Think about how many times you go to your sink every day. That's how many times I see it. And not one of you spoke about Hillcrest. Not one of you. It's $4.1 million sitting there. Why are you not selling it? Is Jimmy Hoffa buried there? What is going on? Why is nobody talking about it? Why is nobody talking about it? What about the Wallish Fields? Why is nobody arguing for that? You have no answers. I know you're not allowed to talk to me. It's a choice. Interesting choices. I also want to know how much you saved from closing Westbrook. Once again, nobody spoke about it. You didn't, in your open discussion, didn't talk about what you did before. So the transparency you like to say that you're giving us, you're still not giving us. You have plenty of time to publicly talk about Hillcrest. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
I'd like to make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? So now if we could move to executive session, Mrs. Ricano.
At 10:08 p.m., I move to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel appointments, resignations, current litigation matters, special education matters, negotiations, and matters of attorney-client privilege. The executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege or confidentiality is no longer applicable. The board will be in executive session for approximately 30 minutes. No motion will be taken, and we will dismiss from executive session.
All those in favor? Any opposed? So we will be dismissing from executive session. Thank you, everyone.